right, good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, April 19th, 2023 at 6:30. I hereby call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of Williamson-Travis County Municipal District Number 1. A person wishing to speak during citizen communication must sign up to speak prior to the beginning of the meeting. Comments on applicable agenda items may be expressed during citizen communications only. Pursuant to the Texas Government Code, subsection 551.042, the Board of Directors' response are restricted in person if a person speaks on a topic not posted on the district agenda. The comments do not relate to an item of discussion. So we're going to move on to do roll call, and then we'll move on to citizen communication. So, Director Horace.
Here.
Okay. Fabric. I'm here. All right, moving on to item number 1, comments and question from district residents. 2 minutes per resident. All right, from the Gravel Club, I believe. Last name is Seth.
Yeah.
Can you state your full name?
Nagendra, Dr. Nagendra said.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Nagendra Seth. I'm a proud resident of WTCMUD1. I live in Buckeye Trail, family of 4, two boys, grade 10 and grade 4. And I wanted to kind of, on behalf of the community, I wanted to say that there is a great initiative that is going on in this very premises, which is called the Youth Gavel Club, which is the youth speaking club. Led by Ms. Diana. And this is one of the best things that have happened since we moved into this community 2 years ago from actually a different state. I work in Amazon, and just wanted to connect a few dots here that we are going through a crisis of leadership in the generation of today. Not just in terms of employability, but consciousness, creativity, and connectedness. And these 3 together is empowering my kids. And I'll give you a small way of how even we found this club. Me and my elder son who is here, Nipun, we were taking a stroll walk here and we saw a bunch of kids, Diana talking to them, and we understood that this is a great, the youth club of Toastmasters Association. And that's where the journey has been onwards and upwards. My son today has been recognized as an international speaker. My younger son, who had great problems with public anxiety and fear, has got over that. He's connected with people around the community. So my simple and humble request is, please make sure that this community can prosper and build the leaders of tomorrow. And this is an ecosystem that you have provided. Please continue to support this wonderful club so that we can all have a stake in the future. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Nagendra?
Yes.
Okay. And can you state your full name?
My full name is Nipun Nagenda.
Okay, you have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nipun Nagenda, and I'm currently a sophomore, and my dad just spoke here. I joined this club, like he mentioned, just taking a stroll. But I never realized that my life would be changed forever, and that's not an exaggeration. When I came to this club, I had moved away from all the confidence that I had gained up throughout the years. I wasn't able to speak confidently in school. I didn't know what to do. As I found this club, I was able to give speeches. I was able to connect with so many wonderful individuals, especially Miss Diana here, who's helped me so much over the years. This club has also given the opportunity to to connect with other branches of 4-H, which is an organization that we are affiliated with. I was able to speak in behalf of this club at the County Commissioner's Court. I was also able to speak at the City Council to issue a proclamation. But overall, I think the best thing that this club has given me is a chance to be part of something. Be part of a group of wonderful people, be able to lead, be able to speak, and now I'm here speaking in front of you because of this club, and I would like to humbly request you to please continue this club. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last name Owen.
My name is Wafa Owen. I am a resident, and I'm also a representative of the organization Toastmasters International. I am a region advisor supporting 8 districts in the state and in Mexico. I'm also a co-founder of Lakeline Toastmasters, and we used to meet here, but we outgrown the space, so now we meet somewhere else. We sponsored the Youth Leadership Program for multiple reasons. Our mission is to develop effective communicators and leaders, and we want to give a voice to the youth, hence the program that the organization offers globally. And I have visited the club many, many times. I'm so proud of their development, their progress, and they thrived, they flourished. I'm just amazed. They're just like sponges absorbing everything. And they do need a platform where they can continue developing and learning and being our future leaders. You have just heard one of them speaking eloquently in front of strangers. He has never met any of you, but yet he was able to communicate effectively. So our goal is to continue offering the program, and we are a nonprofit organization. We don't have funds to go out and pay rent in places where it's not affordable. So this has been a great opportunity for the club. We thank you all for offering this platform, and we would love for you to continue supporting the community. It is great. Diane just reminded me, she's the coordinator of the program, volunteer for many, many years, using her time to help the youth. She reminded me that we started this program after 5 youth committed suicide at Cedar Park High. And there was a call for action, people to start clubs where the youth can participate. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, thank you. Carol Newell? Carol?
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here once again without knocking the microphone over again. I'm Carol Norrell. I'm here to certainly speak just very briefly towards agenda item number 2 tonight, which is in the selection of the to fill the empty seat at the board. And so I know that each of you tonight have already read all of those. I don't know how many there are, but those applications, those you've perused us and perhaps looked us up, checked on some of the stuff to see if we really were telling it like it was, or did we exaggerate, or whatever we might have done. I hope I did well. That's all I can say. But I pray that you will be prudent in your considerations tonight, in your open discussions about us. I pray that God of heaven has given you wisdom. And I pray this night that you'll make a good, wise decision in filling that board seat. There's much ahead that needs to be taken care of. I pray that you're bringing into consideration of what's good for the board, but more than that, what's good for the residents of the board, of this community, of the MUD. And really, that's really all I have to say to you tonight. Not long-winded tonight at all. but simply to say, I do thank you for the effort that you put into making this decision tonight. And as whether you recognize this or not, this has been an open prayer on my part. And so I will close it this night to say to my God, thank you and amen.
Thank you.
Hopefully not stepping up.
All right. Chris Rocco.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Rocco. I've lived in the district 33 years, and 26 of those years I served as a director, twice having been appointed to the board. I noticed on the agenda for this evening, the topic of annexation is on once again. I looked at it and thought how many times we've discussed this as board members. I got a call today from Chris Capel, Assistant City Manager of the City of Cedar Park, and we talked for about a half an hour. He was curious what had happened recently to require annexation to be put on the agenda. I told him I was not aware of anything. He reminded me that our taxes are 20% less than the City of Cedar Park's, that we have similar service fees, the same cost as the City of Cedar Park, and he doubts very seriously that everybody wants to be annexed to get a free library card. I would like the board to realize that every single time I was on the board, we thought about annexation continuously. It was something that a director needs to do. It's one of these things that if it's right for the district, you know, we need to go to the City of Cedar Park and say, now is the time we'd like to be annexed. And it's something that you have to consider all factors, not just the tax rates, but everything. And I would hope that the board realizes that there's just not enough right now for us to be annexed. If our main consideration is, like most people, keeping our taxes down, our month service fees reasonable, and that we will discuss sometime in the future, not in the near future, annexation. Thank you very much.
And what was the name of that gentleman that you spoke to?
Chris Capel, Assistant City Manager.
Thank you.
Mary Maring. I hope I didn't butcher your last name.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I go by Meg. So, that's my nickname. What's that? M-O-R-I-N-G. Dacoma Drive. 2101 Dacoma Drive. Tell me when to start, because I want to take every second of it. Okay?
All right.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to stand up here and talk about past problems, which include undoubtedly hundreds of thousands of dollars of expenses associated with lawsuits, perhaps frivolous, and FOIA requests that we all know about. It's all there, public, on the resolution of censure against Director Favreau from January 17th, 2023. But that is not interesting anymore. What is interesting right now is annexation, not at this time, I don't think, per the last speaker, and deed restriction enforcement. I have let my lawn grow out for like 3 months because, hey, I don't have to cut it right now because nobody's enforcing. Okay, I want to add on to my house. I actually want to put a pool in the backyard. I want to build out the back of my house more. I'm not going to invest more in this neighborhood. I'm going to move out if we don't enforce some deed restrictions. I'm not saying we have to be crazy about it, but we have to do something. We can't have people like me not mowing the lawn. We can't have, cars out every night. I mean, if someone has a special exception, maybe, but like you just can't trash the neighborhood with no deed restriction enforcement. I'm supporting Carol Norrell because she stands behind deed restriction enforcement with reason and no annexation at this time. I also, I think it could be problematic if things go another direction. And I don't want this to be ugly. It doesn't have to be ugly. Carol Norrell has stood up here and discussed how diplomatic she is and how much she wants to work with every member of the board. I don't know that I would have that level of diplomacy. But, she's willing to do it. And she's the only one who is really willing to reach out to every single one of you and work with you. So I think you need to consider that when selecting a new member. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Gordon.
Okay, good evening. My name is Gordon McKinney. I've been a resident with Valente Hills for nearly 2 decades. In that time, I have the honor of serving my HOA on the Communication Committee and supporting WTCMUD1. I've known Carol Norrell for many years, and it's always been a pleasure to work with her on HOA activities. We've communicated a bunch online. It's been great. I'd like to recommend Carol for the open board seat. I feel strongly she will work hard to support our community's interests. Thank you.
Okay, well, that's it for citizen communication. Let's go to item number 2. Discuss appointment of director to fill vacant position. And we'll go, I guess, one by one. Is that the... So proof statement and oath of appointed director. So how do we...
Right, you all need to take a vote on who you wish to appoint first.
So that all of the items you see under there will come after you pick who you'd like
Gotcha.
to join you on board.
That's correct.
All right, so do we have a motion to appoint
I do.
director?
I do have a motion for you. I motion that we appoint Mark Perry to serve the remainder of the term created by the resignation of Megan Dudek.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second, and let's begin discussion. You want to start?
Yeah, I've been kind of thinking it over and how this was going to play out and how we were going to have the discussion and how to make this fair and for all the applicants. We had 8 applicants, and it was a great turnout. Showed a lot of interest in our people in our community that they want to
I apologize for
take
that.
part in the decision making and in the future of our neighborhood. So I don't know if you had any ideas on how to move forward. Are we doing any kind of scoring for all these individuals, or are we just going to pick our top pick and kind of discuss? So I was just wondering if any of us had ideas of how to move this forward. Are we just going to nominate somebody and discuss that person's ability to be a director, or so I just kind of want to get everybody's input on how they saw this playing out and what steps, because I was thinking of a point system, your top 3, your first, second, third pick. Your first pick gets 3 points, second pick gets 2 points, third pick gets 1 point. You kind of add them all up and see what our top candidate is, or we can just have our one candidate and kind of work it out that way. So it's a question I had on how we were going to play this out.
Great.
I would like to thank all 8 applicants that submitted a letter of interest to serve on this board and are willing to serve this community. I hope that your interest carries through to the next election in 2024 and that we will see your names on the ballot. However, one candidate surfaced to the top specifically because of the knowledge and abilities he brings to the table during one of the most important times in the history of this district. That is the situation we are currently facing with our aging infrastructure. Some 40 years ago, a developer named Bill Milburn entered into an agreement with the city of Cedar Park that included purchasing our fresh water from them and sending our wastewater back to their treatment facility. Oftentimes, the movement of wastewater includes lift stations that pump wastewater in spots where it cannot flow downhill. Think of it as low spots where help is needed to move things along a path. That's what a lift station does. Our infrastructure includes a large quantity of underground pipes that carry fresh water and wastewater, and those pipes and those lift stations are aging and leaking and failing. This district has a dire need to develop a 5-year plan that will rehab our infrastructure so that it lasts at least another 40 years. The letter of interest that was most aligned with what I believe the district needs most right now and for the foreseeable future came from Mark Perry. Mr. Perry's background includes over 50 years' experience in the general contracting and project management arena. He was the underground utilities project manager for a water transmission main from Lake Travis to the south and west sides of Cedar Park. He is already familiar with lift stations and how they operate, and infrastructure design, and the infrastructure that makes them necessary to move wastewater. His noted strengths include considering economic, reliable solutions to problems and pre-planning to consider the possible pitfalls prior to starting a project. Planning not to fail is his mantra right now. This district needs a 5-year infrastructure plan more than it needs anything else. Without it, we risk another catastrophic failure that would certainly bankrupt this district. And for that reason, I have nominated Mr. Perry to fill this seat for the next 17 months and help us with the infrastructure plan that we desperately need. This district is fortunate to have a member of the community with so much knowledge and skills in the area of infrastructure planning, construction, and management that it would be foolish not to take his offer to serve.
Okay, Director Jones, do you have a comment on Mr. Perry?
With Mr. Perry, on what she just read, I know that with our board that really goes through the infrastructure, and that goes through Herb and through other people. And I think it's great that we have this other person. I've never seen this person involved with our meetings or speaking up before, so it makes it hard to do that in one night when this person hasn't made themselves visual to everybody in the past few meetings. I think Herb's doing a great job. And I think with infrastructure, that takes a whole team, not just one person. That's what I would say.
Okay, great. Well, I want to circle back to your question. I think it is important that at least we get to see the person that's applying and maybe ask some questions, so as to, we don't have an actual system in place, correct? That's what I've noticed. But I think at least that we can have some basic understanding of the individual that's applying, other than just, a written letter. I have not seen this individual engage or, interact in public meetings so, again, how do we do this? That's a great question, which I don't have an answer for, but I think it's important that we engage with that person at least a few minutes to maybe ask questions, see, how that person is engaged with the public. So these are, I have the same questions, and there are valid questions.
So then, in the information that we submitted to the public, to the community, we should have put on there an interview process would be taking place. So this way everybody is aware, and they can, we should have said, this is when we're going to meet, this is when we're going to perform interviews, so everybody has the ability and the same chance to be questioned and to go through that process. I didn't think that we were going to go through that interview process because what they submitted was that we were going to make our basis based on that, not based on anything but what the information they gave us. So that's what I thought that we were going to make their basis on, not interviews. That was never discussed in the past, and it would have been fair to let them know that, look, this is the process that we're going to take. So I think that if we're going to go forward with that process of asking Mr. Perry or asking Carol or asking any one of them, it has to be a fair, and we're obviously not going to get that tonight because not all of them has showed up. It doesn't, we don't know if they participate by watching online every single meeting. There's past videos. We don't know if they've gone back to watch all the meeting videos. So it's kind of unfair to say that somebody was not participating when they could be very much involved and sending emails to people, sending emails to directors, sending emails to Infomart. So we really don't know how much they haven't been involved. We're just kind of guessing that, since we don't know them, I don't know them, then they're not involved. So.
Right, and I'm not suggesting that we do that at the moment. I'm just saying, I think it's good for the future to think about the process. As for me, I've reviewed Mark Perry. I think he could be of a great asset to the district. I'm looking for something different, so he wouldn't be a person of my choice. I think I've looked into other possibilities, but that's all I have to say. That's my opinion.
I would like to add a note, though, that I think that we're all adults, and I think anybody that wants to run would know that they need to come to meetings and start to learn what the MUD is about. You can't just send a letter and then all of a sudden expect for someone to pick you if you're not involved. It's just how I feel.
All right, so we have a motion on the table. We have a second. Are we ready for a vote? Okay. So all in favor for Mark Perry to be appointed?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we have 2 and 2, so with that.
Should we move on to the next person?
Are you two voting no?
Yes. All right, do we have a motion, another motion to appoint any of the candidates here?
You want to make a motion?
You wanna do it? Usually it's the,
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion for Carol Norrell. She's been to all these meetings and she's had an enormous amount of support of people coming to meetings for the past 3 months voting for her, so I know that the public truly wants her. I think that if I went with all the neighbors and residents in this community and what she's done for our parks, what she's done for our meetings here, sharing that she wants to be fair and what she wants to do, that's who my vote is for. And that's more from what the public wants.
okay, so you're,
Yes,
So we
I'm
need a motion?
asking, yes.
okay. All right, do we have a second? Okay, I'll second the motion. All right, so let's discuss. You want to start?
Yeah. I think Carol brings a lot to the table. I didn't really, being in the situation as Director Fobb stated with the infrastructure and our lift stations, I don't think that she has that knowledge behind her. I think that's what my main focus was, to concentrate on the infrastructure. I think if Ms. Norrell has the support of the community, she would do great to run in the next election and definitely get the votes needed to be on this board. But that's pretty much all I have.
Yeah, I have no doubt that Ms. Norrell is probably a wonderful neighbor and a great citizen of this community, but I am looking at the business of the district and not the person that will get along the best. I personally believe that our founding fathers probably fought and kicked and screamed when they were writing the Constitution, and I think if this board behaves that way, it's a good sign that we're looking at various options. My selection will always lean towards the business interests of the district, and that is somebody who understands our infrastructure, where we have oversight from more than just a contractor, who is right now the only one who truly understands how it works. So I can't support a vote for Carol, but I would love to see her on a ballot in 2024.
Director Jones?
Again, Carol's been on board, she's been on school board, she's been on many activities with her neighborhoods, including ours. I don't think that this is an infrastructure issue. Our infrastructure is being dealt with right now. If we're hiring someone for one thing, that's not the way to do it. We need to find someone that's well-rounded in all areas. And I truly, truly believe that, looking at the audience right now shaking their head, that there are a lot of people here for Carol. And there's been people here, different people, every single time. And if I voted not for Carol, we're doing the wrong thing for our neighbors. Because we are here as a MUD for our neighbors. We're not here for ourselves. Sorry. Your turn.
All right. Well, I would agree that we do need, I get it, that you're looking for the best interest of the district. But I think I'm just hearing one part of the district, and that's infrastructure, which is highly needed. However, I have a different interest, and I think my interest is more of an administrative interest. And I believe she has an extensive experience in administration, running board meetings, has a lot of social experience in mediation. And I think overall, we've read her resume. She's very engaged with the community. I have been really, I've been hearing from a lot of people in the community. I've gotten emails. She's been here at every meeting.
Right now.
She has the time. She's retired. And I think she can come in and dedicate a lot of time to hold people accountable. And so, she's my first choice. She's dedicated time with me. We've talked about, her interest. And so I think she's a perfect fit for the community. And to me, the fact that she has a lot of residents behind her speaks volume. So she remains my first choice. So that's
Here all
it.
night until we make a decision either. I'll sit
So
right
do we
here.
have a motion for a
You already have a
third?
motion, you need a vote.
Okay, so all in favor for,
We can sit right here all night. I'm okay with that.
all right, so do
Well,
we
do
have
need
a
to
motion
move through the
to?
agenda, we're just not going to appoint a director.
Right.
This is-
Yeah.
Now, we need to appoint a director.
Well, then we maybe need to
Well-
change the approach, and maybe next meeting we interview the top two candidates, and we,
Now, we said we would vote for somebody tonight, so we need to work it out.
In early March.
excuse me, point of order, you're not allowed to speak out. So I am prepared to bring the top two candidates, the ones that you and Beth, Carol Norrell, that you two are for, and Mr. Perry that we're for, and we can, at the next meeting, interview them, and then see if your decision and your opinion doesn't change. I can personally speak to Mr. Perry's involvement in the district because he has been instrumental in the storm cleanup effort, has been providing photos and clearing out drains and doing such things. But again, I am not adverse to having an interview process next month to narrow down these two candidates. But
Now-
right now, we have a standoff, it's 2-2, so we
Right.
can't move forward on this.
So we can't move forward. Do we have we have other candidates. Are y'all interested in submitting another motion for another candidate? Should we?
Are any of the other candidates here right now who could speak on behalf of themselves, potentially?
Yeah.
I mean, you all can do another motion for another candidate. I think it sounds like it might be a deadlock. It sounds like you all like the candidates that you like, so you have the option of.
Or let's let him speak about all the different committees and what he can offer for other things.
That's not on the agenda. We'll have to put an interview process on an agenda in order for that to happen, and I'm more than willing to do that next month.
See, I think it has to be everybody.
And
You have to-
everybody
You have to
gets
do it
noticed.
fair for
Right.
every single person that has applied.
Right.
We're here to do things fairly
Can we
and
do it this week? Meet again?
you could do it at the next regular board meeting, or you could call a special meeting in between, and just have one agenda item and just focus on the potential candidates, and that way it's only one item to really consider.
If we have a special meeting, because waiting another month, I do not think it's a very good option.
Well, we've been handling the business, you know,
Very well.
accordingly very well, moving since.
We do have to fill the position. I think TCEQ gives us 90 days, so we still have time left to weigh this out and to do it fairly and equitably, and I don't think.
Do we have a deadline as
What's
to
our
when
90
we need to
days?
fill the position?
There are boards that have not filled vacant positions in years. There are boards that oftentimes fill them as soon as they can. It's a matter of interest, and it's a matter of residents' interest really in the board.
So now, legally, do we have to appoint within?
Legally, right now, you all have been without a director for 60 days or so. You're getting to a stage where if there's a resident who petitions multiple times to be appointed to the board and the board does not take action, that resident could probably go to the TCEQ and plead a case, and the TCEQ might appoint that director to the board. And so there is that possibility, yes. My recommendation, it sounds like you all are deadlocked, is to have an interview process, invite all the candidates who have submitted their applications, have a single agenda item to discuss, similar to what you all have done with your other consultants, probably to a lesser degree, because this is a little different. These are all your neighbors. And talk with them and then try to make a decision at that special meeting. That would be my recommendation, but it's completely a board decision, so.
I think that's a good recommendation.
I just think waiting another month is a long time.
David,
It'd be nice
you think
to
that's
have
that's a good recommendation?
I think, yeah, having a special meeting in between meetings it's fine. I think it's the proper thing to do. I believe that all of the applicants should be invited to go through the interview process. I still think because we are a very split board, okay? You guys want Carol, and you're not gonna give, we're not gonna give, it's gonna be like this, it's gonna be combative the whole time. So this is why I say we need a point system to get your 1, 2, and 3. The person with the most points, it's our top candidate, you know? That's really the only way to be fair is, you know, you pick your top 3 and we go at it that way, because we can go through this whole interview process and you're still gonna be deadlocked. I want Carol. We're still gonna be deadlocked. That we want, you know, our pick, Mr. Perry. And it's gonna continue to be like this. And even though we interview everybody, my guess is that we're gonna continue to do this, be split. And it's only fair to the community that we work this out. We don't let TCEQ handle it. Like she said, we're adults. We have to come to a happy medium where, look, this is where we're gonna have to give, right? So, you know, it's
Okay. Well, and you're suggesting a special meeting just to do this? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, because I think that going into another meeting again without somebody, I just think is crazy. I think it's important that we try to get somebody in, because we're gonna always be locked.
All right, so we have to make a decision and move on. Do we have an actual motion
Yes,
to do
I'll make a
this?
motion.
Okay.
I move that we call a special meeting to interview all 8 candidates that submitted applications to be appointed to the board, and we interview those candidates and make our selection based on their interviews.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move on. Item number 3, engineers report.
All right. On the hatch lift station, obviously that's our biggest item today. The contractor got the first pump up and running last week. The second pump is been running, but they had some issues with the gaskets. So they reinserted some gaskets today, and they should have the second pump up and running tomorrow. We'll let that run for a bit, and then we'll have then Infomark should be able to be in a position to remove the temporary pumps that are on the rent down there right now.
It's unhooked, we just didn't want to
Yeah.
take it away in the event that it was leaking.
let's make sure everything is controlled, because right now the control panel only controls the on-off level and one auto dialer alarm if the second motor comes on. There's also a meeting next week. We're going to need to go over everything that's in there, go over what was looked at previously, verify what in the best order is to replace. If there are items that can be left alone, then, you know, that'll be in the recommendation for that as well. And then outside of that, still on the assumption, as the board directed, that we were still working with Liberty Civil to move forward with that, because once we know everybody's on board with Liberty to even work, we can start the submittal process, get the information together, get it approved, and get things ordered, which is going to take time. So as far as the lift station, that's really it. I don't know if there's any discussion or clarification or questions about Liberty or how we're going about getting this thing done. I'll be happy to address it.
I was looking today for the bid tabs for the lift station when you put that project out for bid. It was in January, where it was recommended to hold until the end of the year. I wanted to look at the bid tabs to try to understand why you picked the provider you picked.
Okay. A lot of it had to do, not just on price, but a lot of it has to do with abilities, crew availability, knowledge of the contractor, knowledge of the type of work that they do, and honestly, their immediate availability at the time. Those were all factors in that decision. If you'd like the bid tab from back in January, I'd be happy to forward that to.
Did you put it in was it part of the engineer's report in January? Do you
Yes,
recall?
ma'am.
Then you don't have to send it to me, I'll go back out there.
It should have been in there.
I'll go to the board packet and I'll find it.
Okay, and if you have any questions, I mean, just by all means, just let me know.
Yeah, I certainly will, thank you.
All right, Director Flores, any questions, comments on this?
Okay. The rest of the items, that's just been the focus this past month, is the Hatch lift station. As you know, we don't have a full infrastructure committee, so we haven't had any meetings to really discuss much other items right now within the district. So that's just, that's really the only thing to report under the engineering report.
Except for item
Excuse me,
agenda.
Director Jones' turn, so.
I'm sorry.
I've asked your name. Do you have any other questions or need further
I
comment?
shouldn't,
Okay, so, Director Jones, do you have any?
No, I'm
any
just
comments?
excited that it's looking a lot better out there already. You can tell. So I've been driving by, so thank you.
Agenda item 9D is the landscaping RFP, and I know that you leave after your engineer's report is over, so I would like you to move agenda 9D up to underneath agenda item number 3, so Herb can tell us what happened with that.
Do we need a formal motion for that to move the agenda item?
You don't need a formal motion, as long as you all agree on it.
Do we
Go ahead
agree?
and do that. I think it makes sense with her being here to do that.
You okay with it? Okay, I guess everybody's in agreement, so go ahead.
All right, well, we submitted the RFP out for various contractors. We got 4 responses back on that. Then the return of proposals are a lot like you'll find in most of the types of services like this. It just seems nobody they just don't do A, B, C in their proposals. It's just a mix and match, and you gotta go through it, sometimes you gotta call them up, ask them for clarifications about what did they intend here, is this right? So we make sure that all of the items that are covered within the RFP are being covered under the proposal. Now, with your contract, historically, you would take that RFP that was produced, and that is part of your contract document, so that it's all in there. And there's no, I didn't know that, I didn't see that part of the deal. That's just a recommendation to really consider when you do your contract. The 4 companies that we had, in order from low to high, was UTS Environmental Services, and their price for the annual price of $139,758. The second was Land Care, and their annual price was $164,677.50. Perfect Cuts came in as number 3 at $616.75. And number 4 was Ecosystems, and they came in an annual price of $267,725.52. Looking at, there's approximately a $70,000 jump difference between second and third. Again, it comes down to, and like I said when we started this, our office doesn't make recommendations on lawn services, but again, we kind of have to go back to experience with contractors. What are their experiences? How much are they in town? Because what we found in the past, a lot of them aren't. So you've got to nail all of that stuff down. I think all of them have covered the items within the RFP. I had to call 2 of them to get some clarifications to make sure. The really only big difference was one has an onboard arborist with a specific arborist crew. That's with Perfect Cuts. I would not be inclined to say that that's worth $70,000 increase. The low bid, based on the numbers and the items that I've looked at, I'm a little concerned that there is something that we're not seeing. It just seems a little bit too low, even based on what the district's paying today with this one. And usually, I'm not saying that UTS is doing this, but I get a concern about additional services from a bid like that. That's a concern. So I think coming out of it, we tried to have a meeting. I was only able to get with one director, but we went over all this stuff, and Mackenzie was in on this as well. I believe I walked away with understanding, and you can correct me if I'm misleading anything here, but I think the direction would be land care, based on experience, based on availability, based on their yard locations, based on, they run their crews identical to these other companies, because I've talked to a couple of them again. What's your crew setup look like? How do you do your manpower? What's your cycle on these 35 visits or 24 visits or whatever it is? I think land care, I believe, is the direction. Nope. See, that's what I say. I don't never know.
I thought we did it the opposite way. Let me just say it and then tell me if I'm wrong, or both of you can tell me. I don't know if you're still. So the 3 detailed crew, the same crew each time, correct? That was Perfect Cuts.
Correct.
That one caught my eye, and I think it would all of us, just because what has happened with what we had before, or what we still have right now, sorry. They're still here. But that's one of the problems, is that you've got different people coming each month, and so they don't know who's going back to what, who's done what, who hasn't done what. So that was one point that we thought was really cool, is that they will send out the exact same crew each time so that it doesn't get mixed up. The other thing is that, if I'm correct, Perfect Cuts does have an arborist.
Correct.
And Land Care does not have an arborist. And so, and their crew would not be the same each time, he said. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
It'll be
It'll be the same
Yes.
main guy, project manager.
Yes. So out of all of these, I mean, well, I can wait. You want me to go ahead and just do my 2 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Yeah.
So just from what we've done, the ones that we got the most feedback from, which is also important that we're getting feedback, correct? As we all know how that goes. I think the 2 would be Land Care or Perfect Cuts if we're going to start all over. I mean, if we're starting over with somebody new, those would be the 2, because they replied immediately. I mean, they picked up their phone. Boom. Hello. I mean, that's important to us. I think that's really important to us. That there was, I mean, I don't even know if the other 2 ever called back, but we know for sure that these 2 were on top of it. And they wanted to answer our questions. They wanted to give us what they had. They wanted us to know how they worked. So those 2 are the 2 that would be the top pick, I would think, because the Ecosystems we don't know, and UTS we don't know. But yes, we would be paying more if we did go to Perfect Cuts, because they were $237, but they have an arborist. Whereas if we went with land care, we would not have an arborist, we'd have to hire somebody. Okay, and it would be different crews. So we just have to talk about it.
Would that arborist be included in the price? It would be an extra charge no matter what to
Well-
have the arborist come out, correct?
Well, the arborist can come out and look at things and that wouldn't be a cost, but if they're gonna do work, then yes, it would be like any other arborist. It's,
Right.
the nice thing is
So,
that they're
I
already
don't know,
there.
$70,000 plus to have somebody come and look is worth going with them when you can get any arborist to come out here, look, give you a quote and say, hey, this is what's going on.
I don't know about
So-
that. We don't have one yet, just because of the storm. So
So,
we haven't been able to get one yet.
How many of these contractors showed up to the mandatory pre-bid conference?
None.
Then none of them are qualified because it was a mandatory pre-bid conference. How do you explain to all other vendors who didn't submit a proposal because they missed the mandatory pre-bid and thought they didn't have an opportunity because they missed that requirement to submit a bid? I think that that is huge here, because I remember when you put the mandatory pre-bid conference on the landscaper, because it's like you said, these bids came in so late, I have not been able to compare them to each other, but I can just see at a glance, some people filled out this part, some people filled out this part, some people filled out this part. So without that mandatory pre-bid, exactly what you suggested at the start of your speech, getting everybody to bid it like the RFP requested, didn't happen. So we can't compare. We can't fairly compare these bids because you talked to two of them, but two of them didn't get any additional consultation from her. And again, I can't help but wonder how many people did not submit a proposal because they feared, having missed the mandatory pre-bid conference, they were not eligible to apply or to submit a bid.
And I neglected to even throw that back out. It's been going too fast for me. I'll admit that. Really, before you could even do a consideration, the board would need to make a decision and approve waiving the mandatory requirement. The board can make that decision. There was a list of questions that came out. I believe it was Ecosystems that actually did, and all of those responses went to all four that had received the RFP. And this wasn't a public advertised deal, this was sent to specific contractors to get those.
Can I ask why you didn't publish it so that we could have cast a very large net?
Two things. One, it's a service and it's not required. And two, that's the direction that the board asked me to do at the last meeting. We also dictated the timelines. And the timeline of the mandatory pre-bid that was directed really just didn't give anybody, I think they just missed it. Honestly, two of them I know just missed that part of the RFP. But I think all of that were factors.
I would like to see it done equitably. And if we're going to remove the requirement for the mandatory pre-bid, I think we need to put that proposal back out there, that RFP back out there, so that everyone who's interested has an opportunity.
So, just so I can understand what you're saying, to me, what I'm hearing is if you just want this opened up to every company in town, you advertise it. You go through the advertising process, you put a whole document together in order to do that. You'd have to, for bidding, you would need to be a lot more specific in that document. The contract, a lot of the items that are covered under an RFP when you do your contract comes from legal. So you tighten all that up at that point.
Right, but things like the same crew mowing every time, those were not things in the RFP, and if they're weighted and valued, we should have them in the RFP if that matters.
I'm perfectly fine if y'all want to advertise this.
I just don't want someone to come back and say, hey, I would have applied for that, but I missed the mandatory pre-bid meeting, so I thought I was ineligible. Because truly, by definition, if you don't attend, you're not eligible.
The four companies who were sent the RFP all provided proposals.
Yes.
So there was nobody just left out.
That the 4 people that you contacted submitted a proposal.
Correct.
Okay. Well,
And that wasn't just my selections of the companies. Those were also selections from the previous round that the full committee and board went along to agree to invite. I think I added one company in there.
How many applicants were there last?
Director Flores, give me 1 second. It's her turn.
I just want to say that the reason why these people were put in here is because they've worked with other MUDs. I don't think that's been said by Mackenzie or with Herb, that these people that were sent these are people that have actually dealt with other MUDs before.
So that's a requirement then?
that's a requirement.
Well, it's important that they understand
So
how, yeah, I think, yes.
So then
Yes.
That should have been in the
it should have
RFP.
been fairly stated that you have to then work with a MUD. Then it would open it up to those people. I don't think it was done fairly.
I just don't think you can change the rules at the end, now that you have proposals. And let me just be one to say, if Land Care's demonstrated success at cleaning up the storm damage, if we just measured based on that, hands down, slam dunk, they would have my vote, hands down. I mean, we've watched them perform. But again, I'm looking at fairness and equity, and if we're saying that we had this mandatory requirement and oops, nobody showed up, so now we're gonna waive that requirement and accept the proposals that did arrive.
It's not exactly the way you're presenting it, because there were only 4 companies who were sent the RFP.
I sent one.
All 4.
I sent one. I sent an invitation to bid.
I had no clue of that.
Yes.
Because y'all had
It's-
ordered directed me to do it.
Yeah,
So that's what I was
but
doing.
when you've got a bid on the street, you can invite all qualified applicants to apply. I did the same thing with the board position.
If
You
you
better
want-
believe
if
me.
you-
Please make that
If you,
known.
well, one, I never heard from whoever this was as an indication. But regardless, how it happened, this was not a public bid. And this was a service that was sent out as an RFP to get here's a selection of 4. You did a 5th. I got no idea or no clue about that.
And I don't know if he just decided not to apply, if he missed the meeting. I never did
So I
reach
can't-
back out. I
so
just
it's hard
said,
to me-
it's back out there.
It's hard, the first go around,
How were you allowed to do that?
Of course we
The first go-round, our company, other than helping bring some suggestions for the RFP, that's what we did.
Yes.
We didn't do any sending out, we didn't do any follow-up questions or anything of that nature. This time around, the board requested our company send out the RFP to qualified contractors, and that's what we did. I can tell you it is extremely difficult for any consultant to be going down a direction believing he's got all the information to find out at the 12th hour that he didn't. That's difficult for any consultant. And when we send out 4 and somebody sent out a 5th, 6th, or 7th, whatever, then I have no clue to even consider, to think of, look at, call, any of that.
And see, the beauty is that it was posted on the MUD's website, so anybody who read it had the authority and the right to apply. So me directing somebody to the MUD's website, hey, and this was a landscaper for a MUD that actually applied the last time, and then the committee pulled the RFP because of the storm.
Right.
And he had reached out once or twice after that said, are you guys going to republish? Are you going to do it again? And the minute it went back out on the website, I sent him a note and said, here you go. The RFP is back on the street. Here's a link to it on the MUD's website. Now, his application is not here. I'm assuming he chose not to respond, but I didn't call and ask that question because I didn't see this until after 4 o'clock today. But I would like to know if he made a conscious choice not to submit a proposal, or if he saw that he missed the mandatory meeting, whatever his choice
Right.
was. I want to make sure he got a fair shot at it.
Okay, at this point, I would just recommend that if you're going to even entertain any other proposals, you need to redo this deal because these other companies' numbers are now out there. And that is not fair to receive another proposal from somebody else who's already put in the work.
But we may need to tighten up that RFP if the requirements include it has to be the same crew mowing every time. Or if you have to have mowed in a mud before. If those are requirements, they need to be in the RFP.
Those were considerations within the pursuit of companies of knowledge to pursue. Because when they've already been in, and I don't know every one of these. I know two of them for sure.
Do you know landfill?
No. And I told Mackenzie that, you know, I would have a hard time, although they did a fantastic job with the trees. They just got in there, got all of that stuff done, did a phenomenal job. But they were also putting in a proposal for $164,000.
I said the same thing.
I have to take that, me personally, I take that and set that aside because that's not going to be an influence on my decision or any kind of discussions. I just don't think that would be right. I think you get swayed on stuff like that. The arborist question came up because I'm not a tree person, number one. But I know with the amount of damage, there will be some issues coming up at some point where we're going to need arborists to go through the district's facilities and look at those trees that were torn and ripped and what needs to happen with them.
We need one now.
And the question about the crews, again, that's just based on my history of being around these mud districts and listening to complaints and listening and watching what's going on. So if we ask those questions to going into it, they don't have to have a one-man crew. They could send out 20 crews. But I kind of want to know what the game plan is. You know, I've seen mud districts hire companies that did not have enough manpower. And they haven't even really looked at a plan for how are they going to cover not just this mud, but other muds. So if you don't ask those, it's not mandatory. I mean, it's kind of hard to make those types of deals mandatory. You're not going to run a company. That's not the ideal. But I think it's fair to ask those questions, especially when you get down to a couple of contractors.
Is all that stuff written inside of their proposals? Again, and I do apologize, but when they come after, the day of a meeting, sending this stuff out for review, it's too late. I mean, there's a million things out there, so.
Again, and those are the dates.
Are those details inside of their proposals, or is that something you learned in conversation with?
That's something that's learned in conversation.
So,
and the dates, I'm going to stress it again. I know that these just got posted up today. We just had them all Monday for me able to be reviewed and put any kind of a bid tab together. It was Tuesday before we could get with any kind of partial committee, whatever. But again, all of those dates were dictated by the board.
I know.
So,
yeah.
Crunching the timeline was not mine.
And I do apologize because it was a really tight timeline because I don't have all the details of why Sunscape has failed to provide the services that they're contractually obligated to do. That information is at a committee level. That is not at a board level. So I don't even know. The only thing I know is there was an RFP for a landscaper. And after the storm, it made perfect sense to go ahead and fill that need. And I still agree that needs to be done. But as far as continuing to, like you suggested to us last time, don't fire the one you have until you found his replacement. So perhaps we do the right thing and we put that RFP out there and we solicit and we do it the way it should have been done, and we give it more time, a lengthier window, so that everybody who's interested has an opportunity to apply. And if there are requirements, or if it makes it easier to make a decision, and I really think that the bids need to come in supporting that RFP. And like I said, I just did a quick glance. But some people gave us costs to do some things. Some people left those costs totally blank. Does that mean they're not going to perform those services? Is there a requirement in the RFP? So between that and not attending the mandatory pre-bid, I
Can
say
we-
we redo it.
Yeah, can we move on? I have a question, and then we're going to have to make a decision. But I want to hear Mackenzie's view on the top two choices.
I think it's my turn to go. We go in order and then go, correct? Is that how it goes? 1, 2, 3, and then.
You haven't gone? Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Mackenzie, how many people applied the first go around?
We didn't get any.
You didn't get any interest?
No,
in-
well, not in, applying is a
Well,
certain.
interest in,
So it was sent to 6 people, one of which told me they didn't have the manpower to apply for a job this big. And then the 6th one of that was Sunscapes, which is who we did not send it to again this time. So out of the 6, the 4 that did show interest were who it was sent to this time, that we were aware of.
okay, so the first time, the one that Director Pham told that was to come and look, they didn't show interest or they didn't reply? Or
I
didn't
don't
get
think
any-
so. I think they came for the meeting, what was the previous mandatory pre-bid meeting, though I had sent out a cancellation to those that I was aware of. I just didn't know that she had someone coming, and we didn't have anything come from them after that, at least not to me.
Well, it was pulled.
Well, but you had
Before
said
that.
they asked multiple times between now and then.
Yes.
That just didn't come to me.
That was pulled before the mandatory meeting, correct?
No, the RFP was pulled, I think, the day of the mandatory.
It was before, because I had time to put a notice on the website about it. It was at least a day or two before.
Cole, question for you. Are we allowed to reach out to landscaping companies and say, hey, look, we have on our website, we have this availability if you're interested in applying or.
Yeah, I don't
process?
see any issue with that. I think the only issue I see here is kind of more of you used a lot of Herb's time and energy in terms of coordinating this, so when,
Right.
if other people go out and, give proposals and he's not aware of it, then you're right, you are dealing with a situation where contractors have put their bid numbers out, it's public now, so I'm gonna guess a lot of times they'll probably stick with the number that they have, but oftentimes contractors might kind of feel that's a slight and they're gonna say, we're gonna withdraw our bid altogether, and you might lose those groups. I think if you all are not gonna make a decision tonight and you want to have, do the RFP again and do a longer window, and I would highly recommend you all either have her do everything, and if a director finds a group or a company that's out there that they want to apply, or that they want that group to apply to, pass it along to her. Let's have it go through one person as opposed to multiple people.
That's the way it's always been.
Just so we can keep it all on an even keel, and that way we don't run into a situation like
But
this.
there's nothing legally that would stop the director from reaching out to.
No, I don't see it.
Because
So she can write the RFP to Fern Bluff's people, and that's okay.
What do you mean, to Fern Bluff?
It's another
The-
district.
to their
Well, no, I
land,
know
to
Fern
their
Bluff,
land.
no,
yeah.
but you mean to the board of directors or submit it to the landscaping company who works?
I've heard both, so.
I mean, again, I don't see any issue with that.
But if
You
she's
all-
not on that committee, so anybody on the board can do that.
We're equals.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know what your committee documents state, and I know right now a committee can't make a decision on behalf of the board. It's the full board of directors, you have to have a quorum of 3, and my understanding right now is committees are 2 directors.
I just know that's what McKinsey's for, and that's what Herb's for.
But McKinsey.
That's why we hire them.
Right, I know, but they can't make decisions.
No, but you send out RFPs and to other.
Right, I think
That's not supposed to be our job.
On behalf of the MUD,
Yes.
that's what consultants do.
Right, I think that's kind of what I was speaking to, or that's what I was alluding to earlier, is that I think you're right, you have McKinsey and Herb here to do that work, and so if the board requests something, have it all flow through one person or 2 people, that way.
I just wanted to make sure.
Or that we all know that it's gonna happen. I mean, when you do that, you need to let us know.
Excuse me, it's my turn, thank you. I just want to make sure that Director Pham was not doing anything wrong, because Director Jones alluded that she wasn't allowed to, so I just want to make that clear that she is allowed to do that, and she did nothing wrong, so.
Well, she didn't tell any of us.
That's not illegal, it's just, we're running into the situation that we're running into now.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I just want to hear your thoughts on the top two, which I have reviewed, and there is a $70,000 price difference. I've heard from the reasoning from Herb. I want to hear your thoughts on what you think about land care.
So I personally haven't worked with land care until your storm cleanup, so within the last 3 weeks. That is me personally. However, I did poll several account managers from Houston that we work with in land care in Houston, which they have completely separate divisions, and I've heard nothing but good news. Nothing but raving reviews and how dedicated they are. Some things that I did notate with Herb and Beth on the call yesterday was that the communication level has been beyond anything I've had recently with your current. As far as being able to get in touch with the account manager that's doing this, being able to get things done on weekends or after hours, the fact that they were reporting when somebody dumped into the pond after they had already completed cleanup, they got pictures of the person doing it. The thoroughness is definitely evident and it's valid. I did go ahead and kind of pull some preliminary numbers. These probably aren't a total, but the total amount spent for legacy arborists whenever we utilize them to come through and do essentially what you're about to do again as far as trimming trees up high for storm damage was $43,725. That's not, I'm sure, 100%. That's the four main invoices I can find, and I don't feel like you're going to get much higher than that, especially not an additional $27,000+ to justify having an arborist that can only look at things. This was for them to actually look and perform work. So that is something y'all can take into consideration whenever y'all are making the decision between Perfect Cuts and Land Care. The dilemma that Herb and I had was he's worked with Perfect Cuts, and then I've only ever worked with Land Care just here recently. So that was pretty much our dilemma there. So.
You have a little experience with Perfect Cuts. When we did our tour last year.
That was Land Care.
Okay, so here's the deal. This is what I'm hearing. I get the idea and the concept of equity. We got to be fair and give everybody a fair shot. But it is my understanding that we've made a decision as a board, and he acted upon that decision. Now the numbers are out. To me, that's not fair and equitable as well. So I think we got to meet at a, I understand your point, but we also understand that, he performed based on what we asked him to do. Mm-hmm. Now we have options. We have 4 options.
But based
the question,
based what he was supposed to do and put out, it was a requirement that they had to be here. They're all disqualified if you do technically. They all had to attend it.
Well, legally, how do we stand in that? Of the mandatory pre-bid, nobody shows up, does that disqualify all the applicants?
I've never run into that situation, so I would have to see if there's anything heard more in the, you see that way more than I do, or you see.
Yes, even in developments, occasionally that comes up where you just don't have you have one guy show up instead of 5. And the board always has had, my understanding is the board's always had the right, and they have waived the requirement for mandatory pre-bid. That's your first action, whether or not you want to even consider it. If you don't want to consider it, you throw everything out. If you consider it and you accept that as a motion, then you can select a landscaper. But there's no sense in trying to pick a landscaper if you're not going to waive the mandatory requirement that was noted in the RFP.
And I think that's kind of where I'm stuck, because if we had that notice in the RFP and nobody showed up for it, does that disqualify the applicants if you didn't do that mandatory step?
Then we leaves us with nobody. So.
Or we would have to redo it. I mean,
the numbers are out, and I think that, like you stated, is if I was another company, I'm going to be just below that.
Can you ask for Herb's opinion?
And so I just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on that. So what are is there any legal?
Boards can waive requirements like that. I've seen, not specific to landscaping contracts, but I've seen contracts for, rehab on wastewater treatment plants or on water wells where 6 bids are sent in and only 1 person shows up, and the district waives that requirement, and they take whichever bid they want. Again, this is really a board decision on how you all want to move forward.
Okay. So it would be legally sound to waive that, correct?
Yes, yes, it
So
would.
Herb, I think you had something to add to
Can
this?
you
or-
tell us your opinion? Because, I mean, you did so much work for this, and you did
Well,
exactly
it's-
what we asked us to do.
I mean, the work, I'm comfortable with the numbers that have been provided in the proposals. I'm comfortable with the companies, I mean, the 2 that seem to be centered around. And I'm comfortable with the idea that the board waives the mandatory requirement. that's not an unnormal thing to do, is waiving specific requirements.
I wanted to go here just to make it go.
From a district standpoint, what do you think would be the best thing to do?
What do you mean?
Like, what would be your recommendation? Like,
If it was solely based off of the top two you have, I would choose land care simply because I don't feel like you have a justifiable reason to pick $70,000 higher for an arborist that can look at things, but you're gonna have an additional charge if they do any work. That's my opinion, but I can't make that decision for the board. I can tell you that, yes, land care's put their best foot forward and, but I don't foresee the service getting any less. We met with them in the district about 9 or so months ago. They were great when we met with them. They actually found an irrigation box leak while we were out and about just walking around. Very thorough. My opinion of them has been pretty high, just from the few interactions we've had. But that is just my opinion. And in the meeting yesterday, when we were having some questions come up and concerns on Herb's behalf because he doesn't know land care, it was my suggestion that Herb call and ask his questions to be more comfortable in his recommendation to the board.
and Linda, I have a question for you. I think you mentioned something along the line of, I haven't really had the chance to see them perform, but I've heard great things about land care from other people and how they perform their work. So I think you mentioned something along the line of you liking them, so I just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts as to performance. I don't know if you had the chance to really encounter directly with them.
I
or-
did. I actually did during the storm cleanup. I was out there every day watching them work. And there is, like I said, there is no question in my mind. I watched Sunscape work as well. And there is no question that land care actually would be an excellent contractor for this district in that regard. I really don't see a problem with them whatsoever. And they're a big company. I did research as well, and they're a big company. I think they stand behind their work. So as long as there is no legal implications for waiving the mandatory pre-bid conference after the fact, then I'm ready to vote.
So do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and choose a company to,
You need to waive the mandatory pre-bid first as a motion.
go ahead, Linda, you get to do it now.
I make
You wanna go ahead and-
waive the mandatory
Yeah.
pre-bid
Oh, sorry.
requirement.
Okay, excellent. Do we have a second? I'll second that motion. Okay, all in favor? Okay, it is waived. Now, do we have a motion? We have a-
Make a motion to
Yeah.
hire Land Care to be our district landscape company
I'll second that.
and have our attorney direct the contract.
No, land care will give us a contract.
Yeah, typically
We'll
land care
negotiate.
Well, don't you need to review?
I need to review it.
We'll negotiate.
So the process would be typically, you all would vote to hire
Vote to hire
land care, subject to review the contract. We would get that contract probably before the next meeting day, review it, have the opportunity to make sure everything, the district's covered in the agreement. Then we'd bring in a version for you all to execute at your May meeting, or whichever meeting you all want.
Motion so.
Do we need to have a restatement of the motion, or is it that clear? Is it clear? for
No,
everybody?
that's kind of the
Okay,
format.
good. So we have a second.
Standard.
And a second the motion. All in favor? All right, motion passes. Move on to the next agenda item.
I have to leave early. I was hoping to leave by 8:30. You still have some time, but just as a
Okay.
FYI.
No worries.
There's no money.
Director Fabre,
No,
yeah,
it's
Linda,
okay.
seconded.
But that's it.
Know what's up.
Huh? Do what?
Okay, keep going.
Are there checks or?
There are, but they haven't signed them yet.
Okay, I'll hang out for that.
All right, can we,
And
can,
just Herb's check, please, so he doesn't have to sit here on our clock.
Okay, keep going.
okay, agenda item number 4, consent agenda including approval of meeting minutes of October 19, 2022, December 12th to 22, March 1st of 23, March 8th of 23, and March 29 of 23.
Can I say that?
I do not, I just need to ask Cole if you have made all the corrections, including to the October 19th minutes
Yes.
that I had sent via an email.
Yes, I
Make those
did.
corrections.
Yes, I did. And I appreciate you responding to my comment in there to
Sure.
clarify that.
So I will make the motion that we approve the consent agenda for the meeting minutes listed on the agenda. 1, 2, 3, 5 months of meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second.
I have not read the minutes.
Okay, all in favor? Okay,
We have
Motion passes.
3 yeses, 1 noes.
No, there's one I didn't read, so I'm not gonna say yes.
okay, so moving on to 5, bookkeeper's report.
Okay, so you do not have a financial report tonight. I apologize on behalf of IMS. They just could not produce it in time, unfortunately, which is part of the reason why you all have the termination notice and them not being able to uphold their services for you all. We do have a stack of checks that are for the check register that I did send to you all. If you would like to go forward with doing the check signage, that's great. They will get it to you, we're hoping by no later than the end of this week, and it will go out to the full board for you all to review. However, when that comes, there will be the transfers, so we will have to circulate the transfers for signature at that time. So I'll coordinate with 3 directors of whoever I can get with to get signatures on the transfers.
Thank you.
All right, then moving on to item 6, tax assessor collector
Hold on.
report.
Do you wanna do the payments? Yes, you're gonna have to, you do have your
Yeah,
checks.
right.
And you all got the check register, we also reviewed it under bills and invoices.
So let's go ahead and do that.
But I think Linda's got some corrections.
And I did send them to the bookkeeper, and I copied Mackenzie.
I didn't get it. I don't think you said.
There were, I lost track, 50 missing receipts.
Do you know what checks it applies to?
The only one, yes, I do, actually, yes, you didn't get it. I can't pull that up here, I'll have to send it to you on my
That's
phone. There were absolutely no documents to support at least 50 of the checks. There were no receipts, there were, in the Infomark,
50 checks.
but some of them have multiple receipts, like 2 Home Depot, 1 HEB,
Okay.
that kind of.
So my question is, do you want me to hold checks?
There's really, the only one that really needs to be reviewed carefully is your maintenance and operations
That's fine, I can hold that.
check. The other ones, we don't have documentation for them, and they should not have been approved by committee without the supporting documentation.
They don't get approved by the committee,
Exactly.
they just get
They,
reviewed.
they don't, yeah. They should be caught.
So can I just tell y'all what checks you have and you can tell me if you want me to pull something? It's a very short list.
Here, I'll tell you exactly, it's 1 check.
I already pulled the maintenance one.
Yeah, so can you go over the checks and then we
Yeah, so
can?
it's Badger meter, this is the standard monthly amount that you guys pay for
Every
the
time.
few people. City of Cedar Park Fire
Let's get
Protection,
that done.
Department of Health Services, this is for testing in the district. The Infomark, the normal one, which is
Base fee.
accounting services for March and the base fee. Then you have Legacy Arbor for the tree at Sunchase, 2,000 for that. This is a voided one for McGinnis, you don't need to sign it. Sunscapes, did you want to, you didn't want to hold this one?
No.
It's for 81 and it includes the residential limb cleanup as well as March and April's base services fees for them.
And my only question was, where is the invoice for the
Parks.
36,000?
I don't think they've completed it yet, so they haven't submitted it.
That, there was no issue with that?
Okay.
Just a question about where's the other one?
Okay. Touchstone District Services for your web hosting, your Travis County Central Appraisal District, and your Williamson County Office for County Auditor, and then City of Cedar Park for your irrigation system, City of Cedar Park for your water purchases, and then you have one check to McGinnis for the remaining amounts from March of this year. Those are the only checks. Are y'all good with those?
Yep.
Okay,
Good,
then-
move on.
You don't have a check in there for Deputy Stinson?
Not in this staff.
Okay,
Those get given to them on
those are out of the,
a 2-week
the
basis.
manager's account.
Correct, they come out of the manager's account.
There's no documents for any of the manager account checks.
Okay.
The whole thing is missing, so
I'll make sure she gets you guys an update. If you emailed her, then you
I
guys get
did.
one. Do me a favor, can you move on for now and let me add up the amounts so you can approve an amount of what you're approving tonight and then go from there? That way you can approve a check register.
And Mackenzie, you were not on this email, I'm sending it to you.
Thank you.
So moving on to the next one, is that what you're saying?
Yes, y'all
Okay,
go
then you
ahead. I'm
give
gonna
it- okay,
add this
then
up.
you
I'll
let
come
us
back
know.
to you with the approval amount.
Okay, number 6, tax assessor collectors report, including.
That would have been included, oh wait, in your bookkeeping one, so.
That would be, I'll move on to 7,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So what about general managers, operators report? You want to
I'll go really quick.
go, okay, do that.
Give me 1 second. It's in your Google Drive folder. So going through the manager's report, if you scroll down, don't remember what page number it is. Page 11, you have your executive summary here. Water accountability, I think it's 85% this month. If I'm not mistaken, let me scroll down and double check. Dave's 80s, oh, it says 85. Is that a typo?
No, they don't.
Okay, so it's 85% this month. Part of that, and you'll notice there, is we had flushing logs come in after meter read dates last month, so your flushing logs got doubled up on in 1 month, if not tripled, I believe, because they were, well, not tripled, but they fell out of order. That's just due to the flushing being done after read dates, so we've since made it mandatory, they will do it on the 10th. That way your reads will fall on the 12th and the 13th, so it shouldn't mess with your water accountability anymore. I wasn't aware that it messed with it until questioning it this month. So from there, Herb's already covered my update that I had for Hatch Lift Station, so I won't go through that. We did have 81 delinquent letters mailed, 65 tags hung, and a total of 10 disconnects made. For parks, we did have a detailed report come in from Sunscapes. I wasn't sure if you all had the chance to review that. It is also in the manager's report folder there, and that's just a copy of the email I received from Scott. I wasn't sure if the board was gonna have any commentary to add or want any sort of specific communications sent back to me about that, but I wanted to include it in the report. Did you all have the chance to review that? You got it, so I know you looked at it. I know I read it. You read it, David, did you read it? Okay, so are y'all nothing to add there? Okay, then we'll move on. As you all know, residential storm cleanup has been concluded. Lane Care did a wonderful job there. They've also concluded pond cleanup. However, the following Sunday after they finished, which was this past Sunday, as Lucas said before, he drives that direction to go to church, and he actually caught somebody driving down into the pond and dumping, and he got pictures of them. So we did order some no dumping signs that came in today. We'll put them out tomorrow. It just says no dumping allowed, and we're gonna put 4 signs out around the pond so people will hopefully understand you cannot dump here anymore.
Thank you.
Due to the most recent rain events, while Lane Care took care of the mulch and all that, we, just as a FYI, y'all, we did send out a crew to put up some silt fencing around the piles they couldn't catch before the rain event happened. That was just a precautionary situation. We did have 2 properties on Grist, one of which reached out to me. They were pretty, not within the means to be able to do any sort of limb cleanup or cutting or anything of that sort. And so they did reach out, and I asked Lane Care if they could fit that within the not to exceed amount approved by the board to go grab that. They did, and all was well with that. And then we did have an update for you guys on the bathroom repairs. They have been completed, so those were done this past Monday.
All bathrooms?
Yes.
Because I went yesterday to Andersonville West Park, and the woman's was still had the sign that was
Oh, still the
closed,
sign?
and it was locked, so.
Okay, we need to have Alan unlock it.
uh,
But yes, they did repair
Okay.
all of them on Monday to our knowledge. We'll double check that though. We do have one billing dispute appeal that we wanted to bring to your attention, and I believe the residents are you, Ms. Craig?
Yes.
Okay, so, we wanted to bring this to you guys simply because it's not something I can waive without a board approval. I have no issues waiving it, but we wanted you guys to be aware. We had a few call outs for, this resident, and I will pull up my email so I can give you guys some better details. Essentially, throughout last year and this year, we had several call outs. The most recent one was a call out after hours for the customer side shutoff valve, and it being in your rate order, it was billed back to the customer. She's here tonight to dispute simply because she wasn't aware that she would be charged. I can't refute that she was or was not. I don't have the call log from any of the customer service calls of that nature, so that's why I was completely comfortable bringing it to you guys. If you guys wanted to let her have a moment to speak, so you can hear from her. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. I'm gonna try to get up now. That's it, we're out the old lady, now she can't talk. Good plan. All right, just to summarize, the dispute actually is for the shutting off of the district side valve. That was last January due to a burst pipe at my house. The leak was in my house. That wasn't my issue. The issue was the customer side valve, I was told last May had been replaced when I reported that it didn't go all the way off. So I did have to have the district people turn their valve because I don't have access to it. So then I got a bill this month for $410. And my point on that is I wasn't expecting to be charged for that. I wasn't informed. I mean, I was told last May my valve, or the valve, was replaced. I found out through a customer service email the valve that was replaced was the district side valve, which I couldn't report because I don't have access to. So, but anyways, nevertheless, I'm January $410 out on top of $1,000 repairs and stuff. So I do think it's a fair and honest dispute that need for that emergency service was only due to the miscommunication, the inefficiency. Yeah, since y'all been out and fixed a bunch of your other parts, even wanted to replace the meter, saying it's per my request, and I didn't do that either. So I hope I'm not going to get billed for any more. I want that to be clear. And I don't believe that $410 is a valid charge. I certainly did pay for the excess use of water. No issue there. And I do now understand the valve that I thought was your responsibility is mine, and I can now fix it, but I couldn't now because I didn't want anybody fooling with it until this is done. So that's what I'd like to do, is just say, I don't think I should have to pay that $410. I have paid my regular portion. And I'm very concerned about them coming out for different things. Check that valve again. Replace the meter. No, check the meter. It stopped. Customer reports it stopped. I don't think anybody reports when their meter stops. So I want to be sure also that is not going to hit the next bill. So that's what I'd like you to take into consideration. I do appreciate it.
And what would you like us,
So, okay, to give you
want us
guys a
to
little
vote?
bit more background, we had a total of 4 work orders that I did bring up as the summation of this. One being from 5/31 of last year when she reported that the valve was not operational and she couldn't shut the water off. So that was work order 2887 or 2378, and that was for the verbiage on the work order says the resident called in stating the meter was all the way off, but water was still running into the home. requested that we check the district side valve, which we did do. We sent out a tech that night and they did verify the district side curb stop was not closing all the way. So a work order for the very following day, which was 6/1, was created and the district side curb stop shut-off valve was replaced the following day. That was on 6/1 of 2022. On 1/16 of 2023, we got a customer request to turn off the water after hours, which is the one that she is in dispute of tonight, so that she can make a repair inside of the home. And that is the one that she is referencing tonight. We do have another one that has come up since, and I'm sure you're aware, from 3/23/24, we have dates on both. Another after hours call, and that one was that customer reported the shut-off valve and the meter box was not working, and they requested the tech to come investigate. Tech came out, verified that there was no leak, and I believe they spoke with you at that time, and then after speaking with you, advised that it was the customer side valve that was not operational and not working.
I did not make an additional report after the dispute, the calling to dispute this bill. I did not make an additional request to fix my valve, their valve, any valve. This is the whole thing, is every time I talk, people want to come out and fix something that has nothing to do with me. I don't know. So if there's more charges coming, that's really upsetting.
Well, we'll verify it. I can't tell you yes or no right here. I don't have the AVR system pulled up. However, the amount that she's in dispute of tonight is strictly from the call out for 1/16. And that was simply to turn off the water for her to make the repair inside of her home. And just for noteworthy for you guys, our tech did leave a door tag on May 31st last year, letting the resident know that the valve would be changed out on the district side. So other than that though, I think it's a $410 and what change? 15 cents?
No, it was $410.
Flat?
Yeah. Well, if it was 15 cents, you know
Well,
what?
I just want
You
to
can
make
keep
sure
it.
that the board makes the correct motion to approve the full amount. Let me double check that.
If there is, that didn't upset me, the 15 cents.
Well, no, I'm not saying it did, but we need to make sure if they want to make a motion to waive it, that they have the full amount. to
Yeah,
do so.
okay.
The full amount would be. Oh, I told her wrong. I'm so sorry. It is $410.15.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion, please. I move that we waive Ms. Craig's $410.15 charge for an after-hours service call.
On 1/16.
On 1/16, 2023.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a second. Do you have any questions, discussion? Director Flores? No. Director Fabry? No. All right, all in favor? It's waived.
We'll put that on your account.
Good deal. Thank you so much.
Of course.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Now, the new stuff,
I'll
do I just have to
verify.
come next month?
No. I'll look into it and let you know.
Okay. At least the door of communication's opened and everything's good. And you don't need the paperwork. Thank you so much.
Thank
course.
you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
I'd like to stay, but I gotta.
For so much fun.
No worries.
We
Okay.
don't keep old ladies that long.
So last up on this
Thank you
one
so much, all of them.
is, so Paul from Waste Management was here, obviously, he introduced himself. His daughter actually just broke her arm in soccer practice, and that's why he had to leave. So with that, if y'all are okay, I'm gonna try to go through, because he did present this for me and Reese, and we went through this together before we told him, you can come to the board with this. If you go to agenda item 10B in your folder, you'll notice they've presented their rate increase. Something to notate here, and I'm gonna try to figure out which one of these is the correct one to pull up, is, give me 1 second, I was not prepared for this clearly.
It's
I'm
the
gonna
last
do
one.
my best. Sorry, what?
I think it's the last one.
Okay, I pulled up both, I'm just waiting for it to load. Okay, so the total amount increase, I think that what we had discussed was a total of I think it's 8%, or 8, isn't it 8% is what we talked about?
Yes.
And there's a few things that go into that. All of which is covered under their standard contract for what they can and bring to you. So if they do a standard yearly amount of 5% increase, and there's an additional 3% coming in from, well, a portion of that's coming in from recycling, and then another portion of that is coming in from fuel surcharge, which they have not been billing to you guys up until this point. So, that total breakdown, if you pull up the, like David said, the last item in the folder that says WTCMUD #1 recycle increase calculator, and then you pull up that first one, which is rate adjustment backup, you'll notice that, sorry guys, I'm trying to validate everything. On the CPI, it came in at a total of 6.95% increase, I believe. And then if you look at the rate adjustment request, which is the fourth item in that folder, you'll notice that he's got it broken down for you. He lists out the CPIs at 538.313, increasing to 697. And then in addition to that, he's got it broken down below of how much the trip fees for recycling has increased from $60 per ton to $71 per ton. And in total, the total amount increase is 6.95% for their CPI, which falls under their contract, a 3% fuel increase, and then a 0.04% increase per home for the recycling rate. So that brings you from the new rate of $21.65 per home, and it's $1.92 a month increase, and then it's $18.69 per home for seniors, $1.73 increase per home per month.
What was that first one, sorry?
$21.65 is the new rate, and it's $1.92 increase.
Okay.
Sorry.
With everything else going up?
So the real increase here, if you add a CPI adjustment, fuel increase, and recycling rate increase is 9.99%.
Correct. With it all added in.
Yes.
One thing he did notate is, and it's in their contract, and he pointed it out to us, is they have the option to come to you for fuel surcharge. They have not yet. This is their first. So, having been that they've held out this long, and I think their contract actually says they can go up to 5 or 6% on their fuel surcharge, and he came in at 3. He's still making a break there. So, for all intents and purposes, I don't feel like you're seeing a bad rate here. This is pretty standard. I've seen other districts go up exponentially in their waste services.
Well, I don't think the CPI adjustment is optional. That's in their contract. Fuel increase rate, I don't know that that's even negotiable, and we can't adjust the recycling rate increase. That's what they pay. So I don't see that there's wiggle room here to do anything unless you're interested in rebidding waste management services, which our plate is pretty full right now. They do a great job, and if we have to pay a little more, we're going to pay a little more. You know, David campaigned on trying to get some of the money of the district to pay for part of waste management services, so now you have something extra to work on, because now it's going to cost more. But yes,
If y'all
it's
want
not
to make,
negotiable.
but either way, we still bring it to the board for you guys to acknowledge an emotion that you have received in our acceptance of.
What was Paul, he was just coming to
He was
introduce
just
himself?
he was coming to present this.
Oh, okay.
He was coming to present it on behalf of Waste Management, but I'm sure you all saw him leave pretty abruptly. He texted me, he apologized greatly and wanted to extend that to you guys.
Well, thank him for the great details, because I literally could read everything that happened and why, so it's the way it is. Would you like me to make a motion?
Yes, please.
I make a motion that we accept Waste Management's proposal of rate increases as outlined in their letter dated April 5th, 2023.
Do we have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor? All right.
Awesome. Other than that, I did have one additional item on mine, and that was for you all to discuss the consideration of discontinuing the roving patrols for the district. Linda, do you want to talk a little bit more about that one?
I did, because we talked about it last month when we were looking at budget cuts in order to be able to afford the repairs to the infrastructure. And one of the things that was on the list was to discontinue the Friday and Saturday night 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. roving patrols. I looked at all of their worksheets, if you will, to see if they have ever, since we've hired them, found anything out of the ordinary that they have intervened in, and there were none, no events. So it is a service that I would suggest that we discontinue for the time being, and if a need arises, then we should reevaluate a different, or a security service of some kind to address whatever the need is at that time. But right now, there are no issues in the district that warrant spending that additional $45,000 for the rest of this year.
So do you have a formal motion?
I can make a motion, yes, to discontinue the roving patrol service for the remainder of the calendar year or until a need surfaces that would benefit from this service.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, we have a second. So we're starting. Director Flores, go ahead and start discussion.
It's been pretty quiet, nothing really, I haven't heard anything of people breaking into cars and taking, the petty theft that we had. So I'm okay with temporarily holding off on the service. That's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. Director Fabre, do you have any further comments to make?
I'm good, thank you.
Director Jones?
That's the only other thing I wanted to say is that I know that people have had their cars broken into. I'm okay looking at this and dropping it for a while, but I do want the residents to know that if this is something that they feel that they are unsafe and they want it back, I would ask that they would come to the meetings and talk, because I do know that the break-ins are happening more. I am getting that because I'm on that committee, but I feel at the same time too, but they've got to call the police when that happens. If our police officer is not finding this or being called for it or anything, I think that it's fine that we back off on it. But I want people to know that it's because they haven't been called or they haven't had to deal with this on why we are
Right, they're not
going to
called.
take.
We
Yes.
don't call them directly, they just find
Correct.
as patrol.
I just know that the crime is rising, but I want people to know that it's not that we don't care about the residents, it's not anything like that, but that if we are not reporting, if our officer is not seeing this and reporting it, then I'm okay dropping it until someone comes back and says, please bring it back.
Most of those break-ins, I think, are unlocked vehicles that they check. If the car's unlocked, then they swoop in when a car's unlocked. So it's not like they're forcefully breaking into a car, they're just checking for unlocked vehicles is what the pattern used to be. But there was a ring of, I think, 2 or 3 people they were going around all Williamson County, and I believe that they caught them a couple months ago, so it's been kind of quiet since then.
Actually, there's one good, I got an email just the other night, but we just have to,
Lock your
like I
doors.
said, as long as we are aware and we talk about it.
Mackenzie, any thoughts on this?
No, I'm okay with it. I personally agree with Linda on this. I don't feel like we've seen any sort of crazy interactions happening from USDFPS, which is the company that this is associated with, and I don't see an issue terminating at this current point in time.
All right.
So we will need Cole to draft a letter, please.
I can do that. I'll make it effective.
I will also send you the contract.
That would be helpful, thank you.
You're welcome. And then, so y'all vote on this, I have the number for you for your bills. For you to approve.
So all in favor? You voting for it?
I don't feel like I've ever do that.
We're voting for stopping the roving patrol, right? That's what we're voting on right this minute. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm gonna abstain because of a
Same.
basis for that, so.
I am too, just for our neighbors, I'm not gonna do that.
So I'm clear, there was a motion made by Director Fobb, seconded by Flores, but 2 abstentions, so it fails.
Okay.
Okay. I got all the,
Okay, Okay, your number for approval of the check in that folder is $297,322.44. And you guys will make a motion to approve the checks as presented. That way it's not check register. That way you're only approving the checks you're signing.
I make a motion to approve the checks as presented.
$297.
For $297,322.44.
Second?
I'll second that.
Have a second? All in favor? Okay. Motion.
That concludes my report. So you are on to item 8.
Why did we skip 6?
What's on 6?
Tax assessor collector's report.
Because that typically comes in your bookkeeping report, your financials.
So committee
That's
assignment.
what you see on, I think it's usually page 10, and it tells you how much taxes you've collected, where you are year to date compared to last year. All of those items, I believe, are covered, typically covered under your, the only one that you,
I've never seen 6C or 6D or 6E.
so 6B is your standard identity theft program. We go through this annually. It's something that you make sure you can contract with consultants have in place in the event of identity theft from the district. And we actually have a letter that we send out typically on an annual basis that just says Infomart has a program in place. You know, through our IT department, we have tons of identity theft precautions in place. That's all that is about. It doesn't require an approval of any situations, correct, Cole?
No, it's more of the, yeah, I mean, you
Just
can
FYI.
approve it. I always like to think that motions are, that's the safest way. But it is something that's required for all districts, and it's something that your operator and your tax assessor provide to the district every year.
The red flag report?
It's just a letter stating that,
To let you know that we've had no issues or occurrences of identity theft throughout the year, and I can tell you we didn't have any.
correct.
For 6C and D, I do believe those are typically covered under the bookkeeping report, or should have been. Obviously, you don't have the financials or bookkeeping report, so there's nothing to cover on them.
We don't have a delinquent tax attorney either.
I'm not sure, did you add that?
I added that because I would assume the district does have one, and it's probably through your tax assessor. So I will reach out to your tax assessor and try and get those names and see if that item needs to be on the agenda or not. Oftentimes districts will get a report quarterly, some ask for quarterly, other times it's just once a year. You see who your delinquent taxpayers are, and then when those taxes do become delinquent, the delinquent tax assessor goes after them in order to collect the payment of the taxes. The district does not pay the delinquent tax attorney. The delinquent tax attorney is paid from the assessments levied on top of the delinquent taxes. So I'll look into that. That
Okay.
might be something that we remove from the agenda.
Okay.
All right, so number 8, can we move on to
Is there anything?
committee assignments and reports?
Mine, I covered everything on mine.
Do we have committee reports too?
Infrastructure, I think we've done. Herb's not here. We've talked about it. Information Management Committee.
We
Do we
just
have
posted
anything
the
on that?
update today, so it's all good. We don't have anything else.
Posted what up there?
About school, yeah.
It's on the website that it's all complete. Parks, we have our meeting tomorrow, so that's not, we don't have anything for tonight.
Anything on Deed Restrictions Committee?
Just that people are ready for things to be done, so we just have to wait.
And Open Records Committee? You have any report?
None of these are committees because each and every one of these. B,
Well, they're
C,
listed on
D.
the agenda, so let's move on. Are we agreed not to move on from
I
item
don't think we
8?
have any committee updates.
Okay,
so
excellent.
We
All
don't
right,
have
good.
any.
So moving then on to item number 11, correct?
You mean 9? Old business.
Hold on, old business including. All right, so starting with A, status of annual audit report for the district for the fiscal year ended 9/30 of '22, including authorized filing of annual audit reports with Texas Commission on Environmental Quality and other agencies as required.
So I've reached out to your auditor, and I'm on an email chain with your auditor and the Infomark, who are in charge of bookkeeping and helping, or assisting the auditor with that information. I also spoke with, I think it's Chris at Infomark. He assured me that they are gathering all the information that the auditor has left outstanding, and then they're going to provide it to the auditor. So the ball is moving, and that's the update I received today. So I'm kind of pegging them every 5 days or so to make sure that we get that audit complete so you all can see it and we can
We've
file it.
completed the
Thank you.
whole first round of what they asked for, and I think the second, we're on to the third, to my knowledge, which is standard. You typically have multiple rounds of them requesting certain things, so that's where they are.
All right. B, status of storm cleanup services, we're done with that, cover that. C, status of request for qualification, RFQ for a district accountant.
I don't think there's much of an update, except you do have 2 current firms interested that Cole and I have both been in communications with and answering any questions that they've had. Outside of that, we sent it to how many people?
I think we sent it to about seven different
We've
firms.
compiled quite a list to send it to, so hoping to get some interest. I know a few have already said that they have struggling already with their current workload and can't take on any more. However, we do have 2 that are interested, and we do receive proposals coming from.
Okay.
And did this close? Did this,
I don't think so.
No,
yet.
it's still open. It's still open.
I think it
I think
closes sometime later this month. If I recall the dates right, it closes later.
I was gonna check.
Yeah, I think it's the 30th maybe.
I think it's the 28th.
The 28th.
I was gonna say, I thought it was the Friday or something before.
The 28th is Friday, so I think I believe it's the 28th.
Okay.
That it closes. And then you've already covered your item D.
Yep. So jumping on to 10A, going back, we've already covered B. So A, request for proposal, RFP for deed enforcement management contractor.
I can speak to that. So that was an item that was a carryover from last meeting. If you all recall, there was a RFP that was on the website. There were some comments to it, and I think the board was going to take the time between meetings to review those comments and answer any questions. I did not receive any questions from any directors. I don't know if Mackenzie did. So my understanding is the RFP still is on the Google Drive. So if you all have any, I haven't seen any comments on the Google Drive. I just see the RFP from the previous meeting and the data dump file that is what the district drafted. So I don't know if you all have any comments or if you've had a time to look at it.
I can't find it. I mean, I told Mackenzie today, I went in there and I'm looking for what you wrote, Linda, and I can't find it in there.
It's in the
It's the one
Coles
that
folder,
says
data dump.
DRE.
Oh, Coles folder.
No, it's not. It's in the folder you looked in, Beth. It's in data dump urgent items is what it's called. And there's one that says deed restriction enforcement RFP. And when you click on that, it says DRE RFP final. That is the version.
Oh, so you didn't put it in a different color on your changes?
My comments stick out to the right.
There's no comments on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I got, that's where I got confused on it, so.
Well, there were comments on it at the last meeting.
Yeah,
You saw
no,
them,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So here's the problem with the shared Google Drive. Everybody has editor rights, so I can go through it and re-comment if you'd like,
Please.
but I've already done comments.
No, right, no, I know you have. I saw them last time, so that's
Okay.
why I went and I saw
So
this
I
time.
can't explain why they're not there.
Okay.
Do you mind doing it again?
Yeah, I'll do it again.
I mean, I looked a long time today. I even called Cole for it, and he's like, they're not there.
They were there, I know that.
Oh, that's because it's in last month's folder. It's in the last month's 329 board.
Yeah, agenda.
That's where her comments exist. And it's the same file naming DRE RFP final, and it has her comments on it.
So don't do it yet.
I won't do it.
Well, she doesn't need to, the comments are
I'm
already
already
there.
So it's under 329. I was
Correct.
looking under the recent ones, and it's there, but it's just not the one that Linda wrote. It's just,
It's not in today's board packet.
Correct.
It was in the last board meeting packet where it was discussed.
okay.
I'm just checking it, and I don't see any comments.
If you
Either.
scroll a little bit, you'll start seeing them pop out on the right-hand side. I just looked at it.
Okay.
If you go to 329, did you go to 329?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. That's why. Okay. We don't have anybody that's applied anyways, or,
That's because it's not on the street.
All right, so where do we go from here on, this is your committee, so, are you gonna review and then,
can we do this as a one item on our next, on our special meeting? And then I'll be able to look at it real quick. That's all I want to do is look at it. That's it.
no, I don't recall, are we having a special meeting? Is that something we voted on?
Special
Yeah,
meeting.
okay.
To interview candidates
Yep,
for the
yep, yep, yep.
vacancy.
Okay.
You've already covered 10B, so you can go to 10C, and that is just a preliminary. We obviously don't have a budget ready for you to approve. We start including this on the agenda so you know that it's coming up. Budget discussions will start happening with the budget committee, things like that. So we'll keep this on there for the next several months. That way it doesn't get missed when you do have your budget ready to be approved.
But change that to 2024.
Correct.
Yep. Would not do you all any good to
Redo the one we're
redo the
currently
one
operating.
yeah.
10D, I believe Linda asked for.
No, I don't have
No?
anything. I was wondering what
Who put
renovations to
this
the
one on
building.
there?
Lake White Oaks building reservations.
Reservations, not renovations.
Who put this
Oh,
on
I'm
there?
sorry, that was me.
Reservations.
Yes,
Okay.
that was me. I thought you wanted to renovate the building in there.
No.
What now?
I was thinking 2023 and then renovations.
Yeah, I kind of messed up on that. That's my fault. Yes, this was something that I put on there. It came to my attention that that Gavel Toastmaster Club that came in and spoke, they have an application on file, and they had recorded themselves as a resident of the district, and they were taking the nonprofit rate of $5 a meeting, and their application was for the pavilion only, and they're using the building facility. They are not residents. The applicant is not a resident of the district, and wasn't on the form as well, listed her street address on a street that doesn't exist here. And the rules, the park rules require that if there is participation of 25 or more, it's considered a commercial event, even if it's a nonprofit, in which case huge deposits apply, $2,000, $4,000, regardless of their profit or nonprofit status. So the rules were not applied to this organization, and they're using the facilities every single week. And they are non-residents of the district, the people hosting the event. And of course, some of the participation, of course, comes from children who live in the neighborhood, but it also comes from children who don't. So if we're going to rent the facilities according to the park rules, then the park rules need to apply to everybody equally. And here is a noted exception that I understand from Stephanie was approved by the Parks Committee. So again, this goes back to why committees don't make these kind of decisions, because it's not just. The rules clearly make renting facilities on a nonprofit rate. It's exclusive to residents only. And these are not, the hosters of the event are non-residents.
Can I ask a question? Is this true?
Yes, it was approved by the Parks Committee,
No.
but it was quite a while ago.
Are these really non-residents?
He's a resident. The co-founder of the Gavel Club is a resident. He has a residential address.
I was gonna say, 'cause
No,
that,
actually, if you look in the folder that I've created for you, he is not a resident. He owns property in the district, but he doesn't live in the property. And the
But the
appraisal
bill is
records
still-
demonstrate that.
And the bill is still in his name.
No, actually, it isn't in his name. She sent me a copy of the bill today, and that's not Calvin Wong.
It says Wong, but he probably has a Chinese name or something.
Well, actually, his property record says Calvin Wong.
That's his name.
So that's his real name.
Okay.
And you can look, I mean, take a look. I've given you all the documents in agenda item 10D, you'll see.
He's homesteaded in
He's homesteaded in Buttercup Creek.
Buttercup Creek, so that's where he lives.
Okay, so before we go around and, with all the information, do you have a formal motion you want to do so that we can
Yes.
discuss based on that motion?
Yes.
So go ahead and.
The
do
motion would be that the Gavel Club absolutely be allowed to reserve and rent the space, but at the non-resident commercial user rates.
But I'm hearing her say that they are a resident.
And I have evidence here that they're not.
We have a bill and then it with the last name Wong for that address. That doesn't, so do with that what you will. She's got property records that state he's got a homestead in Buttercup Creek. However, the same last name is on their water bill for the district.
Did you upload that property record to show?
It's in
She
there.
did. It's all in the folder.
It's in folder 10D.
How many of
So
the
that is
kids
not
live in the
associated.
residence? How many?
There's quite a few because, well, the parents spoke today that live in this district.
Okay.
I don't know who they are yet. All I know is Wavy Owens.
Can we table this till we get more information on it?
Well, the question would be, what more information are you wanting?
I want
Now
to know
the-
how many people live here.
Well, the host does not live here.
Because these kids don't have $2,000 to do this.
Here's the question. So,
Well, there's a motion on the
Is the-
table, so we have to, I'll guess I'll
okay, so we have,
second it.
you have,
I'll second
okay,
it
you
so we
second.
can
So go
discuss
ahead and, do you have a comment?
it. Not at this moment.
Okay, but Linda, do you have any?
I think you need to focus on, there was an application from a woman named Diane, I believe, and she is not a resident of this district. And that application was submitted, and it's in the folder, you'll see it, on the day before the park rules changed, actually. That's when she submitted it. She's not a resident of the district, clearly. And then today, or somehow or another, Calvin Wong submitted a brand-new application today. And I hadn't reached out to him, so I don't know why he did that. But I looked up his property record. He does not live in the district, and if you pull it up, you can see his address on Dayflower Trace shows that the owner is Calvin Wong, who lives on Crocus Cove in Cedar Park. He does not live on Dayflower Trace. He does own that property. The district rules are clear and says you must be a resident to rent at that cheaper rate. He's not a resident. The woman, Diane, is not a resident. That doesn't mean they can't rent the facilities. They can, but at non-resident rates.
So my question, is the actual nonprofit corporation is the one that's the applicant, or the individual is the applicant?
The application is a non-profit of the club. The club is a non-profit organization.
Yeah, but my question is the actual, the club is the applicant that's requesting?
No.
Or is the actual individual, is it the president, the registered agent of the corporation, who is it?
It's the registered agent, the people that host the club. Diane and
Is
Calvin.
that a fact? Do you have records,
Yeah,
Secretary of
that's-
State records
yeah,
that show?
they filled out their application.
Okay.
They filled out the application.
So I guess my question, my legal question, if the entity is actually applying as the actual applicant, then do you have to have a registered agent that's the actual resident, or can any board members be a resident?
Well, this is more of a question based on the procedures that the district has established, the district rules. So it's not necessarily, this isn't governed by really the water code per se. So looking at the district policy, the Williams-Travis County Park and Pond rules policy, or rules and regulation, it does give, so one, I want to be sure that it looks like as a nonprofit, they are exempt from the commercial use definition, because commercial use does not apply to the following non-private events defined under Section 5 or registered nonprofit organizations. So I know, Beth, you made that comment about $2,000. I don't think that cost would apply to a nonprofit in this case. In terms of who's applying, I mean, yeah, you want to, it can be the entity itself or a person who represents the entity on behalf of the entity. It sounded like at least. So what's it?
But my question, if the entity
Ms. Owen.
is the actual mean, an entity can't be a resident, right?
Right.
Yeah. So in that case, then, I'm assuming the next rule, who's the registered agent for that entity? If that registered agent is the resident, then it applies at resident rate. Does that make sense? Is that?
Yeah, it'd be a non-profit resident rate as opposed to a out-of-district resident, a non-resident rate.
And so you're looking at the actual registered agent as the resident, and he's not the a resident, correct?
Both of them are, both of the agents for this club are not residents.
Okay. Well,
And Cole, I would ask you to look again at the commercial users. There is an exception, even for a nonprofit, if the membership is, if it's a reoccurring reservation with 25 or more attendees, and they have put 25 to 50 attendees. So they are considered a commercial user.
All right, so that's all I have. Director Jones, do you have anything else on that motion?
I still would like to table it so that I can look at it a little bit more. So I can.
Okay, can you restate your motion?
Yes, I will restate the motion to be that until such time as we square away the park rules, the Gavel Club not use the facilities as a resident nonprofit organization. And that's the end of my motion, and let me be clear, they can still use the facilities. They are just non-resident applicants.
Right. The thing is, I don't see the need to make an emotion because that's the rule. Why should we be?
Well, because we need to stop them
followed.
from using the facility at $5 a pop. Because that's what they're doing, that's what they've been doing since.
So we made a formal board level approval to make that exception?
No, that was done at committee.
How long have they been using it?
Since before the pandemic,
Okay.
well before me.
But the rule changed August, I want to say 17th of 22. They signed this application August 16th of 2022. And the rules changed on August 17th to make it, literally the rule change, and you can see it here. The rule change was about nonprofit, non-residents using district facilities. So it just happened to hit them.
And that part I still believe that they are not considered a commercial user because and again, I'm looking at LLO 2022-817 park rules PDF. If you look at section under commercial use, section 4.1, for the purposes of this section, commercial use is defined as any class, activity, or session in which participants pay to participate and for which a profit is being made by the person or organization hosting or organizing the use. The term commercial use does not apply to the following: non-private events as defined under section 5 or registered nonprofit organizations.
Go down to line 267.
Yep, that's the one I'm looking at too.
Just for nonprofit recurring reservations, only groups larger than 25 people will be considered commercial users. And their new application does state 15 to 40 people.
15 to 40?
40.
Okay.
The application that was just
So
now
that's the
recently
new part.
submitted under.
Did you see that down there?
Yeah.
That's
no,
what I
was
saw
looking-
earlier, so.
And it's not very clear because above that in section 4,
Right.
it says commercial users using over 50.
Right.
So that's why it's not.
And then it bounces, it says, and if this condition occurs, then you bounce back up to section 4. The rules are so convoluted that once we get this board reseated, then we really need to relook and redesign the entire park rules. I truly don't believe this was intended to prevent them from using the facility, but that is the outcome of these rules. They literally do not qualify at a resident rate of nonprofit $5 a pop. They don't. Their application doesn't even ask for use of the building, it asks for use of the pavilion. So everything about that application is wrong. It should have never been approved as it came in.
And they do a recurring monthly.
Every
Correct.
Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
And they are aware that they will run out of visits because we only allow 35 reoccurring on an annual basis. But they
Yeah.
are aware, which is why they did an application for the pavilion to utilize the pavilion outside of the 35 visits they can have in the building.
Okay. Yeah,
So we have a motion, do we have a second?
Do we need a motion to enforce the district rules?
well, I mean, right now, the club has been operating essentially on a waiver that hasn't been formally granted by the board. So they've been operating under the guise of the $5 resident nonprofit rate. You know, yes, that is not what the rules state. So the rules have been changed. I don't know if the rules, once the rules were changed, if the nonprofit was updated or made aware of the rule change. I wasn't here. I'm not sure if that took place. Regardless, these are public documents, so they have the ability to look at them. Yeah, I would say make a motion, because when I spoke with them outside, they asked, you know, when are we going to know if we're able to use the facilities still or not? I said, I'm sure the board will discuss it at today's meeting, and we can let you know after the fact. So I think it would be prudent for the board to make a motion, so that way Mackenzie or myself can reach out to someone who represents that group and tell them what the board decided.
Reese, have they been notified of the change? Have they been notified about anything?
Yes, they are aware of updating. Yeah, I've sent her the.
Well, why they came tonight
Yes.
and everything,
And
we
she
made
has-
them aware that there could potentially be change coming, given the park rules and all of that, even though they were more or less grandfathered because of how long the reservation has been standing
Right.
through multiple park changes, park rule changes.
And they were given a copy of the new park rules.
Okay.
Well, we have a motion in place, we have a second. I'm still having a hard time, why would we do that when the rule were not followed? You know?
Just to document the record, maybe? Again,
Yeah,
I want
we
to
can't,
be.
it's not like we're waiving a board decision, we're
There was
waiving a
no
decision,
board
there was no
decision.
decision, so.
We may be waiving a committee decision, if that's even a thing. But what I want to make clear, and I hope they're watching, of course they can use the facilities. There are rules written that would allow them to use the facilities. They just have to pay the same rates as anybody in an equal class to them.
You just gotta make it fair and
It
equal.
has to be,
to
it has to be the
everybody.
same for everybody.
I mean, if it's the rules, it's the rule, and if we gotta amend the rules, we amend the rule and everybody follows. So I'm totally about following rules,
So,
I think maybe the motion ought to be to notify.
make a motion. I rescind my motion and
You-
open the floor to.
You don't need a motion to ask us to notify them, they're already mostly aware, we will just let them know that, given the park rules and the way that things are written in the park rules, they will have to rent the 200 non-resident rate.
I mean, that makes sense, there's no reason of motion, that's the rule.
That's the rule.
So,
Unless they have a resident.
No, that's not how it works. Otherwise, I could rent the room, and then let anybody I want use it as well. And that's not the intent of the rule. That's not what we're trying to do here. If you would like to, work on changing the rules so that it's fair and equitable, because my understanding of why this rule was changed was to prevent a church from commandeering this room on weekends. You know, reoccurring reservations every Saturday and Sunday, Saturday to stage it, Sunday for services. And nobody wanted that to happen. The committee was dead set against that, and that's why they changed these rules. And the consequence of making that change is it impacted somebody that you support. So again, either the rules change and it's available for everybody the same, or they abide by these rules.
so let's just move on, it's the rule, just notify, and that's it.
Be commercial.
Correct.
Yeah.
They go the commercial.
And while we're on this, because it does
Unless they were willing to
apply,
have less than 25.
and it is the same
But their
exact
application says
scenario.
15 to 40.
It's the exact same scenario. I did ask late in the afternoon for Stephanie to pull for me the Be the Light Craft Fair application, another resident nonprofit, again, with membership in excess of 25, now they have a commercial, the same rule applies. They are now commercial users. They have a large deposit to put down, and it's $200 and not $5. Although I haven't seen their nonprofit certificate yet.
Again, rules are rules, and we ought to follow
But
those.
but nobody's enforcing the rules. That's where we are. That's why these things keep happening. Because these applications for these reoccurring reservations have not been coming to the board. They have gone to committees.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Mackenzie. So whenever we have an applicant, they come to you guys, right? So, I mean, and then it's taken to committee if they're asking for exemptions of the rules, or?
No, typically almost any application goes to the committee unless it's very cut and dry, it's one-time use, so that it's easy to determine. For this one, it was, one, it's been longer than Reese has been here, and it sounds like longer than I have been here, that they've been using the building. So that being one portion of that. Two, the application name, I believe, which was Diana, but Wong being the co-founder, so the two of them run it. Wong is who the address was registered to, that whole situation. So typically, if there is any question, it goes to the committee. And if it's not a question and it's easily identifiable with park rules, the whole nine, then we move forward with it and let it go through, so long as there's no delineation for us that it's misinterpreted. If there is any question, it goes to the committee.
So I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that all applicants come to the full board and not to the committee, but to the full board to make the decision.
Now, my question, is that counter to our current committee rules?
Well, here's the bigger problem is that when those people want it like in 2 weeks and we haven't met, I mean, it's just, that's why we have a committee. I mean, there are some things that need to be answered right away.
But the committee has proven that it's not done fairly and equitably, so.
That's not true. There's been different committees for many years.
Okay, so I have a question, legal question. We've all agreed here that committees cannot make decision unless we vest that authority with specific, directions
And
to
why have
perform
committees?
that authority.
Why are we going to have committees?
I understand, but the thing is, what's the limit of the committee? So right now,
It needs to be on another
so
agenda.
your thoughts on
Committees, I think, are beneficial in certain scenarios when the board gives the committee specific direction on what to follow and how to follow it.
Okay.
So that in essence is the board giving the committee the authority to make minor decisions. Oftentimes, the committee is, it's not to make a decision that exceeds, $500 or something like that. If there's I'm thinking about like wastewater treatment plant committees or construction committees that have express approval to approve items that are urgent, and the board gives them the approval. Of course, they don't sign a check. That still or they don't approve a contract. They kind of say, yes, we approve this, move forward. Then it goes back to the board, and the board signs everything, and that's how that gets done, because you need 3 directors to sign a check. But for instances where committees are beneficial, like here, like what Beth just mentioned, if there is an applicant who sends something in and they want a reservation in 2 weeks, the board isn't going to call a special meeting to meet to discuss that one application. So, if you want to have a committee that I understand what you're saying as well. I mean, if committees need to enforce the rules as they're written, that's going to make all directors comfortable with the committee working. That's kind of how I view the situation, and that's really what allows committees to work and function properly.
And here's the deal, because it's been 2 years of non-going, committees acting outside the authority, and so to me is, with your legal experiences, maybe we need to have this conversation. How do we restrain the power that committees have? I mean, I do understand that we need committee for efficient purposes, right? But what we have right now is not working. And so, anyhow, I'm hoping that with your legal experience that, we could probably craft certain policies in place that would allow efficiency to be put in place but yet that we place the necessary guardrails that we don't go out and, have committees act unequitable, which has been the continual allegation. And so, I'm hoping that eventually, that's something that we can talk about, and maybe you as an attorney can give us some direction on how to do that.
Sure, and that's fine. I think probably the first place to start would be have the directors who are associated with their various committees draft up what they believe is again, if there's anything written down already that the board has authorized a committee to do, then we have a paper document for that. But if there's a director who sits on a certain committee, let's have that particular director, probably because they have the experience in terms of dealing with that committee, draft up what they believe would be a good guidelines. Bring it to the full board, let everybody have all directors have an opportunity to comment. Some directors, for example, if you're not on the deed enforcement committee or the landscaping committee, probably not going to think about every issue that those directors who are on those committees are thinking about or encounter daily. So you want to have all directors and be able to look at that, be able to provide guidelines, and then the full board can adopt those guidelines or those procedures to allow the committee to move forward. I think everything should be done by the full board of directors. However, if and I'm saying instead of having, I'm just going to throw out names, so I'm not exactly sure who sits on each committee, but for example, instead of having you sitting on the landscaping committee, I wouldn't say go draft what you think is best for the deed restriction committee. I'd say let's have Beth do the deed restriction committee because she's on the deed restriction committee. She can bring what she believes is a good guideline or a good template to the board, and the board can comment on it, tear it apart, add stuff, remove stuff, do whatever needs to be done, but at least then the full board can make a decision on this is what we think this committee would function and work best moving forward.
So it's something we should put on future agenda
Future
item?
agenda item, I think that's good.
So I'm going to resend my motion again.
I think we do it after we get somebody on the board.
All right, so moving on to agenda item 10E, discussion regarding time limit for the board meeting, and that's your agenda item.
It is. I would like to, I hear it with the residents and neighbors. I think it also has been talked about amongst the board. I know it's been talked about amongst our people that work for us. If we could limit our meetings to 6:30 to 9:30, I think that's fair. It's 3 hours. I think it's longer than any other MUD district that we know of. We run way too long many times. But I'd like to make a motion that we try to, do our best for you, for them, for everybody, that we keep it within a certain time frame and do our best to do that, and then we can table it. Just like, Cedar Park does that, Leander does that, the boards do that. So I know it's possible to do, and it's just going to make it'll take a little bit of work in the beginning, but we'll just have to think differently and work differently.
Okay. So we have a motion. Do we have a second? Okay, I'll second the motion.
What is the motion? Just to
Just put a time limit. That's what I'm hearing, a time limit to our meetings.
consider timeliness, I guess, really, or?
Yeah. Like Mackenzie's just going to leave, so.
Okay, I'm trying to leave, I was just making sure
I
we
know.
got through that, because I
Yeah.
know that y'all already
Well,
probably needed my
and
input.
we would still have 30 minutes if we did from 6:30 to 9 or, whatever.
I think we been doing all right getting through our meetings in a timely manner the last couple of meetings that we've had. I believe we had a new attorney now because of the old attorney trying to say 2 hours, I'm done, and we're out of here. So to set a time limit now, it just kind of contradicts that the old attorney was trying to be out here in 2 hours, and now we're going to say, okay, well, 3 hours, we're out of here. So to me, it's not conducive to business. Some months we're going to have a lot on our plate, and we're going to have to just suck it up and get through this meeting. And other months we're just going to go in and out, and we're out of here. So I don't see. I can't support being put on a time limit to handle district business when there's so much sometimes to handle. And a good debate, it takes some time to get our points across. So I just can't support it.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to sit here for as long as it takes to get the business of the district done. Ideally, if we all do our work prior to coming into this meeting, review the material before you get here, we should be able to get through it pretty quick. We have demonstrated that for the entire month of March. When we're prepared, the meetings run smoothly and they go quickly. When we're not prepared, we just roll things on to another agenda, making for a longer next meeting. So I cannot support a time limit. I can support sitting here as long as it takes to do the business of this district.
Just note the city of Boston does go all night if they have to handle their business.
We're small.
Okay, Director Jones?
I'm going to say it again. I know that the residents want to be involved. They want to come to our meetings, but they don't want to sit here all evening. That's the one thing I say. I know that if we're all saying that we are organized and we are together, then there's no reason why we don't go from 6:30 to 9 or 6:30 to 9:30. If we all know that we can do that, then why aren't we putting that in place? Because to go till 11 at night, nobody thinks well. Nobody does well. I mean, it's just given. It's not good for our lawyer. It's not good for these guys. It's not good for our residents. And nobody's going to listen to a 5-hour meeting. And if we want to bring our residents back and have more participation, we need to have our meetings shorter and be respectful of each other's time. I would love your opinion.
I think I probably speak for all of us. I don't think any of us would want to sit here until 2 in the morning. Not to say that there's not important district business, but you know, we want to go home and have dinner.
If you're speaking for me, are you speaking for me? Because you said you're speaking for all of us.
Oh, well, it was more of a jest. I'm not.
She doesn't live in our district, by the way.
Oh.
But I'm just saying that doesn't
That's not
apply to me.
relevant.
It is very
relevant.
relevant.
Okay.
It was more of a comment in jest, but I don't think.
I think we should, I agree that it should be till 2 o'clock in the morning, or 4 o'clock in the morning, or 6 o'clock in the morning, because it's gotta get done. So if you don't do it.
Okay,
then-
excuse me, out of order. This is, no.
He
So,
spoke for me.
well, no.
But you don't live here, so
So
it doesn't matter.
we will,
He
let's,
doesn't- he
point of
doesn't
order,
speak for me.
can you proceed, please? And
She really doesn't live in the district.
we need to stop it.
That's okay. I'm
Can you continue,
I
please?
apologize. I didn't mean
That's
that. I'm simply just saying that the board I don't have any districts that have a time limit. I have some districts that their board meetings last 20 minutes. I have other districts whose board meetings last 3 hours. They fluctuate month to month based on the items that are on the agenda. Ultimately, what it comes down to, when a board meeting lasts long, when a board meeting lasts long, you're paying your consultants, you're paying your attorney, your general manager, your engineer, you're paying the people to be here. And especially when a board meeting lasts 5, 6, 7 hours, or till 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, that's a lot of money that the district spends. And who pays those bills? The taxpayers pay those bills. So if those meetings last and residents get upset about that, the easiest way to resolve those issues are to vote the directors out of office and try and make the districts shorter and, make the district meetings shorter and more efficient. That's the avenue for that. That's why directors are elected. That's why there are elections every 4 years. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not speaking for you. Do I want to sit here until 3 in the morning? No. Would I sit here until 3 in the morning if there was district business? Yes, that's my job. I represent the district. So, that's my opinion on the matter. But I would think that as directors, you all are either appointed or elected by the residents of the district to act in the best interests of the district. So the best interest of the district is to act in an efficient manner, review all the business, have healthy dialogue, have debate, have discussion, and make decisions that's going to benefit the district. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you. All right.
Great.
So here's my 2 cents of this, right? I agree with you. I don't want to be here until 3 a.m. in the morning, 2 a.m., midnight. I have to wake up at 5 a.m. for my first duty, which is my job, right? And sustain my family. I don't think anybody wants to be watching for 5 hours, 3-hour meetings, 2-hour meeting. there might be some people that are okay all night, okay? It is my opinion that the great majority of the people wouldn't agree to be here for 3 hours or 4 hours. That's one part. Number two is, we have a duty to the people that elected us, and again, we have to pay you, we have to pay the managers, we have to pay the people that are here. So I think we got to be conscious of finance.
Our officer.
Officers are here. I think also for the sake of making healthy decisions, we ought to function in a limited agenda, a focus agenda, that we can get business done in a timely manner. And again, this is my opinion. And I think setting a time limit, it's going to be a wise thing. Maybe we got to set up some parameters. What are priorities that we need to talk about as part of the agenda items? I've seen agenda items fluctuating from 6 items to 16 items. So I don't know. I think we ought to have some limits in place. No limits is not healthy for anything. So I'm all for time limits, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, but we ought to come to an agreement of what would be a healthy parameter in place. That's all I have to say. So I'm totally for time limits. So we have a second. All in favor of setting up time limits. Now, I think we got to be specific as to the time limit, because that's all we have. So are you saying 1 hour, 2 hour meeting? What's your?
Well, that's why I put 3 hours. That's still an awful long time. 6:30 to 9:30, that's an awful long time.
Okay, so you're saying 3 hours or 2 hours?
Well, I think 3 would be the tops. I would hate to see that we still do 3 hours every time. It would be nice to know that we got out sooner. But 9:30, we've been sitting here 3 hours. That's a long time.
Okay.
And, we just have to decide what we have to table if it goes longer than that. I mean, it's not even 9:30 right now, but after 9:30, you're losing us. I mean, I've seen it with all of us.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table, and we have a second.
Well, you're taking medicine, so.
Point of order, please. We have a second. All in favor of this motion, raise your hand. Okay, motion failed.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on to item number 11. Attorney's report.
Nope, you're on,
10F. Discussion regarding annexation by City of Cedar Park by Director Flores.
Yeah, the only reason I put this is one of the residents asked in one of our public comments that we discuss, and she had concerns, are we going to get annexed, is there a possibility? I've heard many residents ask us, hey, why? A lot of the people that move here in the last year or two don't even know that we're a MUD district. They, I talk to them and they're like, oh, I didn't even know. I'm not in the city. I thought it was in the city of Cedar Park. That's why I bought here. But I think with what the resident brought up was, our bonds are going to be paid off. So I just kind of wanted to bring this to acknowledge that she had a request. And to start the discussion of, I'm sorry, is there some?
Yeah, these people are talking. I was asking our president right now if he could please ask them to stop talking.
Okay, go ahead and proceed.
So that's the reason I put it on the agenda. I don't have a formal motion or anything moving forward, but I think if we start gathering information on kind of looking into it and would be helpful to answer some questions that the residents have. So that's the only reason I put it on the agenda.
yeah, that is the subject of annexation is not a board decision. I need to make that abundantly clear. That is a decision that is made by the residents of this district. It would take a supermajority vote of the people for Cedar Park to even consider us. However, the resident from Lakeline Oaks that made the comment, she had a very valid request. She knows that the bonds are going to be paid off in August. We have a contract with Cedar Park that established this district that allows us to buy water from them, allows them to treat our wastewater. That was set up under the premise of bonds that would pay off in 30 years. And I asked Cole, did you find that contract?
There's no mention of annexation, but I've been in conversations with the city of Cedar Park's attorney as well. They're also looking for annexation-related documents between the district and Cedar Park. She's not aware of any, but she said before she wanted to give basically an opinion of the city. She wanted to make sure she had ample time to look through everything. I think another one of the attorneys in the city's office was out for a few days, so I think they're kind of trying to get caught up to speed.
So basically, we are just actually addressing a concern of a resident who has a rightful concern. If the bonds pay off and the way the laws were written prior to 2017, it would have been an automatic annexation by Cedar Park. In 2017, the laws changed regarding annexation, and Cedar Park would literally want a supermajority vote of the people before they did it. And I did talk to Cedar Park 2 or 3 years ago, long before I sat on the board, and it is a financial decision for them. Are we affordable for them? Do we have debt? How bad is our infrastructure? What's that going to cost them to fix it to be up to their standards? Those kind of things. Those are business decisions that Cedar Park has a right to make before they annex us, or if they even want to consider annexing us. Again, I cannot stress enough, that is not a board decision. It is a people decision. But we have an obligation to the people to tell them the pros and cons of annexation, and how does the district look once the bonds are paid off? And is it in the interest of the people to be annexed into Cedar Park, or is a MUD scenario a better alternative? It doesn't cost us anything to look at alternatives and to look at the scenario, just so that we can address it honestly to the people. Just to say no annexation, the people don't want it. I've lived here 33 years and I have never received a survey or a question about my interest in annexation. And the last annexation report that was done in 2007, I believe. And it hasn't been looked at since. Again, I remind you, the annexation laws changed in 2017, and it's no longer an automatic thing. It has to benefit Cedar Park. They have to want 1,900 more properties and the assisted living facility and the few businesses we have. And the value of our tax contribution has to cover the cost of them incorporating us into the city. So we don't have that information, and I think it's a good idea to look at it. And I think once we fill the vacancy, I think that I would propose that we have a committee that looks at annexation and the pros and cons and the benefits and the drawbacks of being annexed by Cedar Park. And then we do a comprehensive survey of the people and ask them, here's the story. We're paying off our bonds in August. These are the 2 roads we can go. What do you feel is your best direction? And then we honor the voice of the people. That would be my approach to the problem.
Okay, Director Jones.
20% more taxes, our sidewalks won't be fixed anymore.
I think that's.
Our lights posts won't be.
Please.
Our lights won't be fixed, our parks won't be taken care of. When things break, they'll be pulled out, they will not be replaced. That's not what they do.
Point of order, that's misleading.
Well, no, that's her time, so please.
No, I've talked with the city too. Those are things like, the biggest thing is, do you want a library card? That's what they're gonna tell you. They're not gonna take care of these things. And if they do take care of them, it will take years to be able to be taken care of. That's why we have a MUD. That's why we pay the lower taxes. That's why we take care of our own things, because things are taken care of immediately. So I don't know anybody that's gonna want something different than that, because I don't think people that want to be annexed fully understand the whole story.
Is that it? All right, jumping on to item number 11, A, Attorney's Report, including A, update regarding transition of district file from McGinnis Lockridge to your firm.
Yeah, I can go ahead and fly through this number. So item A, we have received what we believe all the files from McGinnis Lockridge. We've transitioned them onto our electronic system. So now it's just a matter of spending time, and again, I'm not spending a ton of time doing this right now, but as issues pop up with the district, I'm going through and looking through items to pull different contracts, for example, the water contracts with the city of Cedar Park, et cetera. I think I've told the district or the board before, I'm gonna, do work when the board authorizes me to perform certain amounts of work, and going through all of those files just so I can put my eyes on them right now would be very time consuming and very expensive, I think, for the district. So unless the board authorizes me to do that, I'm gonna only look at those items as they arise and as they pop up. Of course, there are financial documents, tax documents, election documents. That's something I do need to look at because that is something that I think I need to do in order to protect the directors and the district. So we have received all those. We've received the litigation files as well. Item B, public information requests. We've received maybe 4 or 5 public information requests. I've addressed all of the public information requests that were outstanding prior to the board or prior to the district retaining Coates Rose. Those have all been addressed. There's only one outstanding public information request right now. It's been answered in 50% complete. There's a request for 5 years worth of hatch lift station reports. I've reached out to your general manager and your engineer. It's going to take them some time and energy and money to go through and pull those reports and sift through exactly what this particular person has requested. So they've provided me with those numbers. It falls under really the number that you have in order to charge the resident. However, it's put that resident up to essentially the number to where if they make another request within a certain time period, we will have to go and charge them for personnel time. So I'm working on collecting those documents. I've been in contact with the resident to keep him or her informed of the request and that I'm on top of it. So we're well within our 30 days. Letter to the TCEQ on the district storm cleanup. If you looked in the Google Drive, there's a letter that I sent to the TCEQ on behalf of the district requesting emergency approval to not adhere by the bidding guidelines for the debris cleanup. I anticipate getting a response probably within the next 10 days or 2 weeks. When I do, I'll do the same thing. I'll upload it to the district's drive so you all have a record of it. And I'll put it in our files as well. Continuing disclosure requirements with the district. I spoke with Chris Lane, who is your financial advisor with Samco. She has filed on behalf of the district, so that has been done. She does file for the district every year. She said if the board has any questions or any issues, feel free to reach out to her. And then the last item, legislative update, where it's starting to get into the ramp-up period of legislative session right now, so there are a lot of bills that are out there. We're tracking a lot of bills. I plan on bringing a memo next month to the board to highlight some bills that I think would be of interest to you all and to the district residents. So right now, nothing to my knowledge has passed, and nothing's in the books or become effective yet, but there are some interesting bills out there regarding, not really specific to you all, but regarding, board meeting locations, ETJ requirements, stuff like that. So I'll put a memo together and provide it to you all at the next meeting. And that's all I have, unless you have any questions for me.
All right, Director Flores, any questions?
No, I just want to thank you for the work that you're doing and staying on top of those public information requests.
Director Farber.
Yes, and I want you to look up a specific bill for me because I've been watching it go through. I watched it go through the House and it got passed, and now it's in the Senate. It's waiting to be engrossed, and it is a bill, House Bill 92 and House Bill 1191. I'm not sure which one is the House and which one's the Senate. Okay. They're companion bills. Okay. And it's relating to the regulation of raising or keeping 6 or fewer chickens by a political subdivision or property owners association. It has passed in the House and it's headed to the Senate. So that one has a definite impact here. And we have plenty of people who already have chickens. We really need to understand the requirements of this bill, because as I read it, the requirements to exercise this option are very strict as far as where the coop can be, how close to your neighbor's house, no roosters, that kind of thing. This one really interests me, so if it's not on your list, if you wouldn't mind putting it there.
It is not on my list, but I will add it.
Yeah, it's gonna impact all of your MUDs actually, because even though it literally can change the deed without a vote of the people. It is a very overreaching bill, but if it passes, it's the law, so.
They'll be allowed how many chickens?
6. And 2 rabbits, or 4 rabbits and 2 chickens. In grand total, I think you can have 7 combination of rabbits and chickens. Again, as long as we understand the requirements of how that has to be situated in somebody's yard so that we can actually apply this law. Because it's not take a chicken coop and stick it on the side of your house where it's touching your neighbor's fence and your neighbor has to listen to chickens all day. It's not that. So, you see it? Did you find it?
Yeah, I have it. I'll
So I have a list of bills, but that one really jumps out at me because we have had issues with property owners having chickens.
Sure.
And chickens and roosters. And if this is going to change things, then we need to be prepared on how we're going to deal with that.
Sure, and if you want to send me the list of the other bills that you're interested in,
Okay.
we can throw them to our tracking system and keep up, so.
Can you repeat the bills, House Bill
It's
1192?
1191 and House Bill 92. I think they're companion bills.
Okay.
Or one's a House and one's a Senate, but I can't figure out which is which.
So it's 1191 and 1192?
No, just 1191 and 92.
92, got it. Right. Director Jones.
That's all I had for your legislative update.
And if there are any bills that you want to testify for, you can do that as well if you
I
want to.
know.
Okay.
I don't have anything.
All right. I don't have anything either. So let's move on to item 12. Convene an executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, to discuss matters only relating to pending or contemplated litigation. I think that's yours. Number 12, is that an update? Matters, real estate transactions, or security if necessary.
I don't believe you all have any reason to go into executive session unless you all, that's again a board decision.
I don't think it's necessary, as long as we can discuss the lack of records we're going to receive from Sage Management.
That would probably be best handled in an executive session because there is litigation implications involved.
Then I would like to request that we do go into an executive session and discuss that matter.
Okay, so what we would need to do is we would need to ask everyone who's not pertinent to the conversation to leave the meeting. And then you probably also want to mute or
Pause the recording.
Pause the recording, exactly.
Stop mine.
So, and what you just said, now we're entering back into regular session.
All right, we're now entering back into regular session. Where are we at on item?
Oh, brilliant, okay. So we're still on item 12. So do we have a motion?
I have two
on the table?
motions.
Go ahead.
I move that we add the Sage Management invoices from February to the special meeting agenda for consideration.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Do we need a discussion on this? No? Okay, all in favor?
I have another motion.
Okay, go ahead, submit the motion.
I move that Cole draft a fact-finding letter to Sage, Bill Flickinger, Zach Evans, Catherine Frankie, and Beth Jones to discover the whereabouts of the missing deed enforcement documents and any information they have on the whereabouts of those files.
Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. Do we need to have a discussion on this? Nope. Okay. So all in favor?
Fine with that.
Did you vote, Beth?
She voted
Yeah,
yes.
I did. I'm fine.
Thank you. All right, so item 13, actions related to matter discussed during executive session, that we did that. 14, such other matters as may come before the board, including discussion about the items to be included on the agenda for future meetings. Next meeting date, 17th of May, 2023. And schedule future meetings as
And
required.
then one special meeting.
Yeah, it would be our next meeting,
Oh,
would
yeah,
be
the
our
next
special meeting.
And do next Wednesday. I don't know if you can you? I know you've got to be there, so.
So your next meeting is the Sage and Voice interviews with potential directors, and I believe those will be only,
One other thing.
what was the third item?
I can't remember, but I'll figure it out before Friday, before the agenda has
I
been
wrote it
posted.
down. Didn't I write it down?
Just cannot remember.
Next Wednesday. I cannot next Wednesday. I do not think, I'm happy to attend if you all want me to. I think for the discussion regarding candidates, I don't necessarily think it's necessary for me to be here. I can watch the recording after the fact to be able to get the documents. I have documents right there for you. I can send updated documents. If you have a notary a notary here to notarize those documents when the appointed director signs them, I think that's okay. I think there's
Don't you
enough.
need to swear him in?
That's what I was gonna say.
The
that you-
board swears them in.
Okay,
Okay.
we can do that.
But if you all want me to attend the meeting for whatever reason, I just cannot do it next Wednesday or Thursday.
Can you do it next Tuesday?
Can we do it, I was gonna say the 3rd.
And maybe May the 3rd, I think
I
that's.
can't do May 3rd. I can do May 9th.
What day is that?
It's a Tuesday.
I'm open.
I cannot do May 9th.
You cannot do May 9th.
You can't do the 10th, correct?
I cannot do the 10th, but I could do May 2nd, and I can do May 3rd. No, I can't do May 3rd, I can do May 2nd. You can do May 2nd? How about you?
I can do May 2nd.
Was that a Tuesday?
It's a
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Can we do the 26th? Well, that's not.
We remember we need to
Say,
give
yeah,
time to
25th, I was
all
gonna
the
say
candidates
25th,
to be
yeah.
able to block their schedules off as well.
So, at the 25th or the 26th of April, Tuesday and Wednesday, it's not really too soon, we have to post the agenda by
Well, I was
Friday.
saying for the candidates that
We just notify them to come in on one of those days, or whichever day we pick for the meeting, for an interview.
Can you do next Thursday, the 27th?
I can do next Tuesday or, no, I'm sorry, I can't do, I'm out of town next Thursday and, well, really, I'm in our Houston office Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Okay.
So I can do Tuesday, the 25th.
Can you do,
I can
you
do the 25th,
I can do
yes.
the 25th.
I can do the 25th.
Oh, you can't, all right. You're out on Tuesday?
Yeah, she's my scheduler.
Of the 25th of April? Yeah, that's next week.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday. So you can do the 25th. All right, let's do the 25th. And we'll have to have that agenda posted by this Friday.
Correct.
Oh, wait,
You get it posted tomorrow.
it's tomorrow, weekends count?
Weekends do count, yes.
Okay.
But we'll still try and get it posted
Like
tomorrow.
quick, okay. Okay, let's do that. And then Mackenzie can notify the candidates to come for the interview.
Special meeting 4/25 at 6:30 PM.
That's it.
Did it have anything to do with the landscaping RFP? The other agenda item?
Nope, because we already accepted the proposal.
I think what we're
I
going
know,
to
I was
talk
trying to remember what
about
it was
the
too.
RFP for the lead enforcement management contractor. I think you were going to review Linda's edit so that we can get that going.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's right.
The deed.
Yeah, so,
And it's the 329 I need to go back to.
yeah.
Item
so
10.
the
Okay.
March meeting.
10A on the current agenda.
And that's the only thing, right? I think so.
I think that's it.
I think those are the three, yeah. Okay, so 4:25, 6:30 PM. Good work. Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
The what?
And the next regular meeting is, in May is,
17?
okay.
I'm not thinking.
The one on 425 is a special meeting.
Correct.
Correct.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Do you have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Let's go.
And you have this.